going to start this podcast by saying, like, hey, everybody, it's going to be a weird week. It's a weird podcast this week, but I feel like I say that too much.
You say that every time.
I think I say that every time, so I don't think anymore that I'm going to identify whether a show is weird or whether it's not weird, because, like, 85% of the time it's weird, and the other 15% there was like a Nintendo Direct.
One time it'll actually be weird.
What's
like
that?
just the weirdest fucking possible news story.
Yeah.
Where it's like Xbox kills Sega in a fist fight or something.
Right.
You're
right.
like, what the fuck does that mean?
Or like, I don't know if this whole show just turns into like reviews of movie candies. Like, we're just gonna do 2 hours of like, okay, Mike and Ike's, you got Red Hots. What tier are you gonna put the Mike and Ike's in?
Well, the Crunch Bar wins, or the Crunch, what are they called? The little bites.
Crunch Bites?
Crunch Bites are great.
Crunch Bites.
They
I'm more of a
fucking win.
Butterfinger man myself. But that being said, welcome back, everybody, to a decidedly normal RageSelect podcast right here on RageSelect. I'm regular Jeff.
No, Mike.
And yes,
I feel if I say I'm regular, it just sounds weird.
Well, as opposed to like, I don't know, are you, I mean, you know, if you were like the
You eat a lot of cheese.
Mirror Universe, Michael, like you shaved, I guess, because that's a question for Star Trek fans, right? So the Mirror Universe, Spock
Everybody
has
has a
the goatee,
yeah.
right? No, only Spock.
I thought everyone else had, well, I must be thinking of I'm thinking of South Park. And,
Yeah.
and everything else where everybody has goatees.
Everybody's got the goatee, but like if you had facial hair in the Mirror Universe, does that mean in the regular universe that you don't have facial hair?
I think
So
you would
if
have mutton chops.
Okay.
I think that's what that would be.
So if you ever see a fully shaved Jeff with a full head of hair with big sideburns, that's how you know you're dealing with Mirror Universe
yes,
Jeff.
it would be Johnny Bravo.
That's right. Exactly.
Because he would be buff as shit, too.
Oh, yeah.
Because all he does is work out.
Yep. True.
He's never even heard of Dark Souls.
True. That fucking nerd working out. Play some Baldur's Gate, you nerd. Right. So we do have an assortment of news this week. But before we get to that, I was going to say, I mean, I did watch some stuff last week. I was going to be like, I really want to talk about Baldur's Gate, but I just don't know, like, it's really good, y'all. Like, it's really fucking good. I mean, you know, I don't know how much more, like, I've been, because like you and Amanda and John and none of y'all are playing it. Like, no one I know is playing Baldur's Gate.
Well, it's like I literally can't right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
GeForce Now is a thing. You can have a real shitty computer and still play it on GeForce Now.
Yeah, but then I got to pay for GeForce Now.
Yeah, it's not that much. But I keep everybody keeps coming over, and I keep just like telling them what I've done, and I'm not even really like. It's also a really weird thing where I'm not even worried about spoilers, because I feel like the way that I did all this shit, it could be completely different from the way that other people did this shit. Like, it's so different that it's almost like, how would you spoil it?
Well, yeah, I've seen a lot of people talk about it on Twitter, and none of the playthroughs are the same, even for themselves, because some of them have two saves where they're doing it by themselves and another one that they had to do with friends.
Yeah.
And the friend ones turn into chaos more often than not.
Sure.
Because it's like a normal D&D session where your friend's like, what happens if I punch that guy over there?
Sure.
And then it turns into chaos every time.
Yeah. I'm tempted, like I really am tempted, because there apparently are the hooks in this game to go full evil, and I'm like, I kind of want to do a full evil playthrough, but like I played this game for like 50 hours and I'm almost done with Act 1. I'm just like, I don't think I'm going to get done with this and then be like, all right, let's go again. Everybody go again. Fucking Armored Core comes out in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So
plus, I'm not good with evil choices.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing where they're like, gaming makes you violent, and it's like, I said something rude to a guy once on Mass Effect and I felt bad about it for 3 days.
I accidentally kicked a squirrel.
God, that's the thing you can do in that game, by the way, Baldur's Gate 3, and it's pretty brutal.
It's pretty brutal. So okay, instead of talking about Baldur's Gate, everybody knows Baldur's Gate's good. Fucking do that. I'm going to talk about something that people might not be talking about.
What's that?
I watched 2 episodes of a show on a streaming service that I think a lot of people don't have at this point.
Tubi?
No. Tubi. No, I'm not like
to be or not to be, Jeff.
Oh God, what am I, a farmer? No, not Tubi. I'm not watching shit on there. No, I watched the first 2 episodes of that Strange Planet show, the adaptation of the webcomic. So you know that webcomic with the blue aliens that like they're like
that's right.
The creature is
That
fuzzy.
is a thing that happened.
It is, but it makes a threatening noise. I do like the threatening noise. That whole thing.
Yeah, I
right?
forgot they were doing that show, and I forgot what it was on.
It was on Apple Plus.
That's
Apple,
right. It's
Apple
an
TV.
Apple Plus thing.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people have Apple Plus.
Fuck that.
People watch Ted Lasso all the time.
Ted Lasso sucks now.
I don't watch it because I don't have Apple Plus.
Okay, I say nobody has Apple Plus because
Nobody has Apple Plus to watch Strange Planet.
none of you guys have Apple Plus.
I had it for a little bit when my roommate had it. My ex-roommate had it logged onto my TV, but I guess he changed his password, so I don't have it anymore.
Yeah, so I watched the first 2 episodes. It was interesting. It's Dan Harmon is like the showrunner for it.
That makes sense.
And they apparently him and the guy that did the webcomic, they spent like a long time trying to like pre-gaming it to get the feel of it out. And so it's just like it's in that universe, but instead of being like one gag, the 2 episodes I've watched so far are like several different stories that are all happening simultaneously, and the stories are really mundane, but it's just like the comic where it's like because of the weird like viewpoint of the aliens, like it makes it kind of it has a really weird vibe to it. But it's funny you bring up Ted Lasso because it's really also very heartwarming, kind of like Ted Lasso.
That is interesting.
Like a lot of the moral quandaries, and they're very mundane. Like in the first episode, one of the several plots is about like a boyfriend and a girlfriend who got together over their love of a band, and then that band like
disbands.
One of the members of that band leaves, and then they're unsure about the girl is like, well, surely our relationship isn't just about the band, and the boy is like, no, it was like we bonded over the band. I don't even know who I am anymore. And it's just that
That is an interesting dilemma.
Yeah, but then it's all through that lens of the weird hyper literal aliens like doing their thing. So I think it's good. There's like 4 episodes. I only got a chance to watch 2 of them.
I wasn't sure if they could translate, because the webcomic, the whole joke of it's like one specific joke, which is they say something in a very literal way.
Yeah.
Like that makes it kind of funny, where they're just like the small animal is growling at us kind of thing, like that sort of way of talking. Like the Coneheads would probably talk this way,
right?
Kind of thing. But you always picture them with a very monotone way of saying it, which is not something a lot of other alien shows will sometimes do that with.
Yeah,
but that's really was the gag for a while. It's Plus, everyone turned on the creator at one point because it turns out he was like iffy or something, but then people forgot about it, and then everything kept going from there.
I didn't even realize that because I don't really care that much about
people bring it up every now and then. I think they said he had some weird politic thing. I can't even remember. That's how easy it is to forget about.
Okay. Well, the other thing that it made me think about though is that I think this is one of the first like Dan Harmon specific spin-off projects, like because I feel like he did Community, and then he was Rick and Morty for a long time, and then I feel like when Rick and Morty was very prolific, we saw a lot of spin-off Justin Roiland stuff, but not a lot of spin-off Dan Harmon stuff.
He did one other thing that everyone forgets about, but this was a YouTube show.
Yeah,
with the Game Grumps.
Oh, okay.
He did a television show where the game, like it was like the Danny and Aaron played like different characters in it, where they assemble an esports team, and that was the show.
Yeah.
But like I don't know anyone who watched it.
Well, but the thing is that I guess what I'm saying is that like I feel like watching this and then watching like Solar Opposites and playing like the High on Life and stuff, it's like I feel like I could really now see like which parts of Rick and Morty were Justin Roiland and which parts of Rick and Morty were Dan Harmon. And I think that the most important part of Rick and Morty was probably the Dan Harmon part, which was just the kind of humanistic setup, like his whole story circle thing, right?
Oh, I felt that easily in the first season of Solar Opposites.
Yeah.
The entire time I was watching it, I was like, this is not very good.
Yeah.
Because everything was that weird Justin Roiland randomness.
Right.
Which is funny at first, and depending on what the situation is, it can be really funny. Like, that's why we always use the two brothers joke so often.
Yeah.
Because that sort of randomness is really funny, but it's not the entire episode.
Right.
Where that's the same plot kind of thing. That's what a lot of of
or
Solar
like,
Opposites was at times.
Like that style, that randomness is great, but then it only worked because there was a core of that Dan Harmon story circle structure thing, right?
Which is why everybody says their favorite part of Solar Opposites is the least random part of it, which is the wall.
The wall, yeah.
Because that actually has like a plot that goes forward the entire time.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. Just some good stuff on Apple TV. That's good. I haven't watched Spider-Verse yet. I'm saving that for the weekend.
Still not seen it yet?
I'm going to watch it this weekend. I'm watching it tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm literally watching it tomorrow as of when we're recording this.
As we're recording. Okay.
How about you? Did you watch anything, play anything, do anything cool?
I finally finished Fashion Police Squad.
Oh, there you go.
It was actually not as long as I thought it would be, but it still had a really fun plot the whole way through.
Okay.
And it had probably the funniest boss battle I've ever done in my entire life.
Okay.
Or not my life. It was one specific level. There's a hacker you fight, and his entire fight is a series of meme jokes that lasts for a very long time.
Okay.
Like one of my favorite gags, he's like, "When you were learning fashion, I studied the blade," and I paused it because I was laughing so fucking hard because it completely caught me off guard.
That's great.
And that entire fight's like that. It's a fairly long fight. But it was like, yeah, okay, I'm very glad that I played this game the whole way through.
There you go.
And so, yeah, that game has been fucking great. And I started playing Broforce again after we finished our video.
You got tempted.
Well, not only that, because I wanted to try out some of the new people because we never got around to them.
Yeah.
It turns out I'd already unlocked Xena and Desperado Bro, without realizing it. I don't know when, but I had them already.
Okay.
But I got Demolition Bro. And he only has a bomb. He doesn't have a gun. I thought that was really weird. Although I never found out what his circle button was because I kept dying. I got Brophy, the Vampire Slayer.
Sure.
She's fucking great. She stakes things, and she has a holy water that if you throw in the ground and you die in that holy water, you just come back to life.
Oh, okay.
Without losing any life, which it took me a while to figure out because I was like, what does this thing do? And then I kept dying and then coming back to life. And I was like, I thought that was her power originally. But then I finally died with her and stood in the holy water with a different character who died, and then they came back to life. I was like, oh, the holy water keeps you alive because it disappears after a while. And so I started doing all that stuff again. And I rewatched the ending because I had already beat the game. And if you beat the game, the last level stays there, which is just the celebration where you meet fake President Bill Clinton. And you high five him for killing Satan.
All right.
It's still a great series. I still highly recommend it.
I mean, I don't know how long it's going to be on sale, but they put it on sale for it's like $3.
It's like $3 right now.
Like if they take it, the Broforce Forever update, they took it like 80% off.
You guys should 100% get that. It's really fucking fun stuff.
I was really happy because I felt like a lot of people were going to be mad that because I know that people wanted to keep seeing Jason and I play Baldur's Gate, and everybody's playing Baldur's Gate right now. And then originally last week we were going to play WrestleQuest. We will get to that.
Yeah, eventually.
But I was really happy playing Broforce. I really enjoyed it, and it seems like everybody else did too. Also, by the time this comes out, it'll be too late, right? But haha, suckers, we got all these hot takes about movies, and that is making people comment saying nuh-uh, and that means more engagement, and that means more views because more engagement means more views. I got you. I don't care. I don't care what your rating is for Judge Dredd.
I'm curious what you guys are rating for Rob Schneider is, though. Give me Rob Schneider ratings.
I'm not trying to call people out, but I mean, you've commented on my videos. That's a public fucking thing. But somebody was just like, you are 100% wrong. The 90s Judge Dredd is a cinematic masterpiece, and that Carl Urban...
Was that Brian? Brian posted that?
I don't know. And that Carl Urban movie was dull as ditch water, and it sucks assholes, and...
Well, it definitely wasn't Brian. Then
you guys are all wrong. And I was like, yeah, man, cool. You want to watch Rob Schneider reprogram a trash bot? You be my guest. I'm not your dad. I'm not at your house. I'm not going to take it out of the DVD player and snap it in half and say, why are you like this? So
Rob Schneider is in a Sylvester Stallone movie.
Anyway, speaking of Devolver Digital, the makers of Broforce, our first story this week is Devolver, in their Devolver fashion, put out the Devolver Delayed Showcase, which was very weird. This is a 3-minute video, and it's totally done in the fashion of a Nintendo Direct. Like, it's like the white and the red.
Yeah, it's got the whole thing and everything.
It's got the people with their, well, first, they're very calm. It's like the very robotic, kind of calm, except there's a couple of fun things. But basically, they just decided to put out a video where they they rounded up a bunch of delays and then made a video out of it. I fucking love you guys.
No other company would go out of their way to do something like that.
Yeah.
Like they would, at the end, they would be like, I'm sorry, this got delayed. And it was like one or two things.
Yeah.
But they're usually like really big games, which is the reason they feel like they have to do it.
Yeah.
But they're like, all of these are actually like, that's just the whole point of this fucking thing.
Yep. So we're going to run through here pretty quick. The Plucky Squire, the one where you're kind of rolling, where you go out of the storybook and then you're wandering around. That's moving to 2024.
That's a shame because I was really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, it looks really good. Sticking to the Stickman, which is basically like, I don't know if people know about Sticking to the Stickman, but because it hasn't been around, but it's basically just like a game that is like those old Flash Stickman Kung Fu cartoons.
And I love those. If you guys ever get a chance, look up those because they were a lot of fun.
And it's being made by Free Lives, the makers of Broforce.
Oh, okay.
And I played the demo for it. It's like a roguelike. So you like pick your powers and your style, and you outfit your Stickman, and then you have to go and kick a bunch of ass. So
that's fun.
Yep, that's moving to 2024. Skate Story, the one where you're playing as a demon made out of glass trying to skateboard your way out of hell.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. They always like shatter if you fuck up.
Yeah, if you fall down, you just like totally shatter. That one's moving to 2024. Everything that I'm going to say for the minute is moving to 24.
Yeah.
And the saddest announcement was Angerfoot. I mean, we hadn't heard shit about Angerfoot in a long time.
Yeah, I was a little worried, but now I know why.
Yeah. But Angerfoot is moving to 2024. Oh, well. I'd rather it be good and in 2024 than bad.
I do love that every time they announce a new one, it just says also as many times as
right.
it's been from the first one.
Also. And then Pepper Grinder, which is like I think they showed this at their E3 thing.
Yeah, it's a lot like there was a drill game just like that years and years ago on the Game Boy Advance.
Oh, okay.
So it's that sort of idea.
It's like a platformer where you also have a drill and you can kind of like go through.
Yeah, it was one of the few games I think the Game Freak had made.
Okay.
One of the few non-Pokemon games they ever made.
Okay.
It was pretty popular at the time, but it hasn't really done anything with it since.
Yeah, so that's moving to 2024. But then the brilliant thing that Devolver did was that they also reconfirmed the games that are coming out in 2023 that have not come out yet. So after talking about the delays, they talked about the stuff that is going to be launching this year. And I'm so happy that the first thing was Gunbrella, because I think Gunbrella looks really cool, and I totally want to play it.
I forgot that was happening, but it's still really cool.
Yeah, where it's like a 2D side scroller where you have a gun that is also an umbrella, and it's all kinds of like platforming. Game. What's that?
It's like a penguin game.
They literally say that in the voiceover.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Wizard with a Gun. I'm a little bit less excited about this one just because the isometric thing doesn't work really super well for me. But
I'm not a fan, but I still love the name of the game.
Yeah. Talos Principle 2 is still going to be coming out this year.
That's good.
Big puzzles. And then it's funny because they talk about the Cosmic Wheel Sisterhood. This game is coming out I think by the time this podcast comes out, this game will already be out.
Really?
What's interesting, I know that not many people have heard about this, but we're going to have a video for it next week. This game is made by the people that made Gods Will Be Watching. Gods Are Watching.
Oh, okay.
You remember that one where it was all the kind of decision stuff?
Yeah.
And then they made a second game that Amanda and I played that was like a game jam where it was like 12 different little games that you could
you told me about that.
Play. Yeah. Like one of them was just like picking out a book that your dad might like for his birthday at the bookstore, and then you just look through all the books.
Did you fail?
That was the thing, is that it's one of those artsy companies, right? There was no success or failure. It was just like
the answer is they're all failure because your dad doesn't like gifts.
Which book do you think your dad like? Yeah, this thing
he's more into tools. He's like telling you about that.
It's something to do with gods and fortune telling, and it looks like super duper like twee and indie and retro.
It's an interesting set of character designs is what it comes down to.
Yeah,
because it still has an art style that would look like it would be made on a Game Boy Advance for some reason.
Right, it's a pixel art style. Anyway, we'll find out more about that one next week. And then the last one is Karamazoo, which is some kind of online
Karamazoo,
some kind of online thing where you can control a bunch of different little pixel monster guys. I don't know. I don't know.
I think you're like invading things or something.
It seems that way. It seems like you're choosing who to control, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't really know that much about this one. And then I think that was it.
I think that's how it is. But I think it ends with a montage.
There's one more thing. Oh yeah, the Broforce Forever. Actually, they had one more thing on their way out. McPixel 3 is getting DLC, the literally everything DLC for McPixel 3. So
actually, that was another game that I played right after we played it for something.
Yeah.
And
it was a Patreon video.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, for Patreon. That game is fucking crazy as shit, even the further you get into it.
No, I love this part of this is the only part there's some funny jokes in the voiceovers that happen, and then like at the very end they're wrapping everything up, and then the male host is like, wait, what was that? Was that DLC from Pixel 3? And the female host is like, don't worry about it. And he's like, okay, all right, we'll see you next time. And that there's a delay, everybody. Bye-bye.
McPixel.
McPixel.
That's such a fun fucking stupid game.
So yeah, that was fun. That was 3 minutes worth of fun announcements.
Yeah.
So
leave it to Devolver guys to make some fun with stuff getting delayed.
And then I'm conflicted, Michael. There wasn't a lot of news this week, so I kind of had to stretch what we would talk about.
Okay.
On any normal week, I think I would just really run this down really quickly, but there was a whole Pokemon Presents that happened.
Okay. Pokemon.
Yeah.
I saw some of it because everyone was making fun of, I think it's Raikon's new thing.
What?
Because there's in the Pokemon, they showed off like new evolutions or something for some of the Pokemon. And one of them is like a legendary from I think Gold or Silver, but they made him go from this like really cool looking like wolf lightning thing into like a Brachiosaurus with a really long neck, and it looks really stupid. And everybody's been making fun of it.
Well, okay,
like all week.
I think we should run through this, but I think we're going to do it quick because here's the thing. I watched all this. I sat through 34 minutes of this. I was punching myself in the leg to keep myself awake by the end. This is the exact same as the last Pokemon Direct. Like, it's almost exactly the same as the last one.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's like, okay, we're going to talk about the Pokemon, the big tournament that's happening in Yokohama, and then here's some updates for Crimson and Violet, and here's like some new guys that are coming to Go. Here's some new guys that are coming to the cafe. Here's some new things coming to the phone game. It's basically just like there's a bunch of like there's nothing new here, or outside of if you're into TV shows, there are 3 different animated Pokemon things in this announcement.
That's interesting.
But we're gonna go through this relatively quick because 1, I don't give a shit about Pokemon, and 2, I really do think that it's kind of like I'm kind of mad at this for being like, why did you have a 35-minute? I mean, I guess
they
it's
do
just
that
like
all the time with Pokemon lately.
Yeah, I guess I expect like if you're gonna make a 35-minute thing, announce something different, like new, like instead of just all DLC all the time. But
I
guess
the last one had the Detective Pikachu, right? Or was that the Direct itself?
I believe that last one had Detective Pikachu, which is like the only thing worth talking about in here.
You already blanked on it.
Lost it. Whatever it was is gone
That's
now.
how little you care about Pokemon.
Anyway,
Chris Brown works for Pokemon.
They show off some of the stuff that you can get at the big Pokemon World Championships.
Oh, that's adorable.
Oh, no, I know what I was going to say. Pokemon has really... like, I used to think, like, Pokemon is a guaranteed moneymaker, right?
It usually was.
Why don't they just make Pokemon everything, and then, like, the fucking monkey paw figure, like, curled up, and they're just like, here's Pokemon Sleep for an app for you to sleep to. And it's like, what?
So
why?
Pikachu can know if you died in your sleep.
Snorlax. Anyway, they got a bunch of stuff that's happening. This seems like a huge event in Yokohama, this whole, like... They've got they've had a really weird thing. They talk, I don't know if I can find it. Yeah, this part. They talk about like, oh, they're going to put all this like street art and like these decals and like stuff up in Yokohama for people to take pictures with. But then they have this weird thing where they show like they'll have a wall and they just photoshopped the thing that they were going to put on the wall in front of it. This thing is happening like in like a few days, so I don't know like why this. And then they photoshopped a person in front of it, and like this first one isn't too bad, but like some of these are just like, you didn't even do any color matching, bro. Like, give me Photoshop in 20 minutes and I can make that shit look better. That
just looks weird.
That is not like, why did you put the same? This guy's hair isn't even cut out right. Like, and they all have the exact same Photoshop drop filter or drop shadow filter behind them.
That pose makes it look like he shot out those Pokemon, though.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible. Where you look at it, you're just like, oh, okay. None of the lighting is the same. All right, guys.
It's also really easy to forget how short Pokemon actually are.
They're also going to have a cruise. It's like a cruise ship that you can go on to play your Pokemon. They're going to have, that thing where all the Pikachus walk down the street, the parade of Pikachus. Yeah. You have some of those.
Can't wait to see one of them fall.
Yep. And then they also talked about this animated film. What the fuck was this thing called? I don't remember. There's 3 fucking animated things. Okay, so there's 3 of them. This one is Pokemon. It's like
it's a card game.
It's a little girl that goes to a high school, and she likes to play Pokemon cards, and she finds a club full of kids, and they all like to play Pokemon cards, and so they all become friends and play their Pokemon cards, but then they have little cutaways to the Pokemon's fighting. It's basically just like Gundam Build Fighters, but with Pokemon.
That's fun. Good for her finding those weirdos.
And it's animated. What would you say this style is like? It feels like something I've seen Netflix.
There's a specific thing that uses that style.
Yeah,
I think some of them are like Pixar shorts kind of thing.
Pokemon Path to the Peak. Great.
It's hard to describe. If you guys see it, you'll know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
There are like shows and shorts and stuff that have used this art style before.
God, I got her eyes.
Because it tries to be like a 2D, 3D idea.
Yeah. Oh, Klaus.
Yes.
It looks like Klaus from Netflix, where it's kind of got like gradient shading and like the character designs are very 2D, but they're rendered in 3D. It's not quite as good as Klaus. Klaus rules.
No,
everybody
absolutely not.
Go watch Klaus.
But yeah, a lot of shorts like use this sort of look.
Yeah.
But it actually looks not that bad.
And I think the first episode is going to be out on YouTube by the time this comes out. We had a new Detective Pikachu trailer where Pikachu explains in his gruff voice what they do, what everybody's going on. This is a very like actually this one was an interesting trailer for me because I didn't know what you do. I've never played any of the Detective Pikachus.
Crimes, Jeff.
But it's like, yeah, so apparently only the kid Tim or whatever, Tim Goodman.
That is his name, yes.
Only Tim can understand what Pikachu is saying, like in English. And so they got to solve crimes in this town where there's a bunch of Pokemon, and Tim talks to the human suspects and Pikachu talks to the Pokemon suspects, and then they're able to talk to each other to compare notes and solve Pokemon crimes of some sort.
It's actually kind of neat. But yeah, he started off as like a really small child in the first one.
Yeah, because his dad is missing. Pokemon or the Pikachu's like, yeah, Harry Goodman, he's my ex-partner. I gotta get it back. I'm Detective Pikachu.
He's Harry is who Ryan Reynolds plays in the movie.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, the movie and the games are completely different when it comes to like what's going on with the Pikachu, as far as I know, because I never really got a chance to play the original game.
One thing that I'm looking at this for is I'm really hoping that like it seems like a lot better rendered than the last few Pokemon games.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's because they don't have to do battle stuff. It's all just like actual detective work. Because that's the other thing that I remember being different about it wasn't about battles.
Yeah,
it was like a little Ace Attorney almost.
Yeah, well, and then they also showed, I didn't know about this, but apparently like Pikachu can like ride other Pokemon, and then they'll like there's like one of these guys that can sniff out clues, and there's one that can like bust through walls, and so there's some parts where they have little like kind of adventure mechanics to go around and do stuff. So I don't know, man. It looks pretty good.
It looks like it's the only thing from Pokemon I actually find interesting now.
Yeah,
that's only because I like the idea of that sort of that little idea of the plot of a little Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
Although one of these days I'd love for them to be like, what if we made it an M-rated game where he just like hunts down a serial killer or something?
And then we got a release date. October 6th.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that was out there before.
Not that I know of, but I haven't been keeping that much of an eye on it.
Yep. All right, time to go back into fast forward. This is some bullshit. Oh no, wait. This is the Pokemon Horizons, the series, which
is the new show.
The new show, yeah. It was weird because they showed this, and I was like, apparently it all happens in the Paltea region or whatever, the one from the new game.
Yeah.
But no, this isn't the one, or maybe.
Well, because this is the one the sequel series to, because Ash is finishing off his thing.
Right.
He's probably I think he's already done by now.
Right.
So they figure they'll do a whole brand new show.
So it was weird because they showed this trailer and then I went and tried to look it up and it's like, this doesn't have any U.S. release date yet.
So far, no.
And there's not one here. I mean, it looks like some Pokemon-ass Pokemon. So, sure.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. Yeah, they really want to keep the series going, but they realized that they couldn't keep Ash 10 forever because it's been like 30 years.
Yeah. So yeah, they showed that. They didn't talk very much about that. It just is coming soon. Let's see. Pokemon Go's got a bunch of bullshit, and it's got some new Pokemon. I don't care. There's weird. The Pokemon from the new game are coming to Go. That's what this weird announcement with the shoes are. I think all the different shoes are the different Pokemon.
Yeah, I think that's the idea.
And then it shows them like walking by the door. I don't know what the fuck that is. Anyway, Pokemon Unite is getting a bunch of horse shit.
That's still a thing.
Yes, second anniversary. Mewtwo is coming to.
We went out on top though, Jeff.
Yeah, man, undefeated Snorlax. Mewtwo is like coming to Unite, and then you can like evolve into two different Mewtwo's.
Okay,
and then just like do a thing. I don't know, fucking whatever. Who gives a shit?
At least try, Jeff.
This is my
try to make them think that we care.
My commentary. This is the irritating girl from Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon
Everyone loves her, Jeff.
Violet.
She's like the Goku of Pokemon, apparently.
Nimona, she's going to Pokemon Masters EX, which is the phone game.
Oh, that's interesting.
So
she's tall as fuck, though, compared to everybody else.
Yeah. She sucks. She kept telling us what to do. I don't care, Nimona. Get out of here. You're just my neighbor. So, yeah, that's a bunch of bullshit. This is the cafe. Has some kind of weird new sushi Pokemon that's like you can get for the Pokemon Cafe if you're still playing it.
That means you can eat those three.
Tatsugiri,
which is somehow much worse.
I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. Yeah, there's a bunch of bullshit. So
that's fun.
This is the thing. Yeah, the Nintendo Switch store is putting the original Game Boy Color Pokemon TCG game on there.
That was how I learned how the game actually worked.
Yeah.
Because as kids, we didn't know how the game fucking worked because nobody knew how to read.
There you go.
And then we played the game, and I was like, oh, now the game makes sense. But now the game is boring because now I know the rules.
And then they also are putting Pokemon Stadium 2 for the N64.
I wonder if they ever figured out how they put custom Pokemon into it.
Into what?
Into the Pokemon Stadium games, because that's the issue with the idea of the re-releasing them.
Yeah.
Is that the reason they were so fun back in the day was you could take the cartridge for Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, and at that point Gold and Silver, and use your team inside of the game to make it work, because otherwise it just feels weird.
All right, fair enough.
Because you just have to like rent Pokemon. I don't know. It's just, it doesn't work the same way.
I don't know.
But
who can say? Pokemon Sleep is the thing. They described it, and then they said that on the full moon you get a good sleep day with your Snorlax. I listened to Triple Click. One of the people on there was talking about this. And apparently, like, okay, I don't know if this is true because I haven't tried it, but Maddie Myers on there was saying that she has this on her phone, and she was actually saying that like it actually worked really well for getting her up in the morning, because when you get up, the app immediately wants you to like tap on the Pokemon without snoozing, right? So by the time you get done doing all of your morning chores and Pokemon Sleep, it's like you're kind of awake, and I'm like, that's kind of brilliant, and I would kind of be interested in that. However, apparently the only way to use this app is you have to open the app and then leave it open all night. Like you can't minimize, like if you go back to the home screen, it stops doing the sleep tracking. Like you literally have to have it focused on that app all night. And I'm like, that seems like a glaring omission on the part of Pokemon Sleep. But I don't know. That's just one person saying that.
Well, it probably just means they couldn't figure out how to get it to work outside of that with like all phones or something.
Yeah.
Because the thing about Android phone, because I don't know if it's on Android, because Android phones are very different from each other. But whereas Apple, you can do it straightforward.
Yep. I don't know. Maybe I'll try it out. Talk about Snorlax. I do like it because Snorlax is in it, and I like Snorlax. So.
That's fair.
Then we got to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Oh, this is a third show because, by the way, the other two animated things, that was a show, and then the thing that looked like Klaus, that was also a show, not a movie.
Oh, okay.
There's a third show that they're making that is very specifically about the Palatina region from Scarlet and Violet. About the whole school thing. Because I was watching this and I was like, do you guys think that game looks so bad that you just animated the trailer for the DLC for Scarlet and Violet? But no, it's like a full-on anime that takes place in that specific place. So
it's not badly animated either.
Pokemon Paldean Wilds, and that's September 6th.
Oh, it's a web series.
Yeah.
That's weird. It's probably all really short then.
I don't know. It says streaming on the official Pokemon channel. I'm not sure if it's all going to be there. I don't know what
that's what it says, original animated web series. So I'm assuming the whole thing will be on there.
All right.
Because that's what they do stuff like that all the time.
Fucking Mew and Mewtwo are coming to Pokemon Violet and Scarlet.
Oh, that's fun.
You can get the Mew by typing "get your Mew" with 0 for the O and your.
I thought you were gonna say you get the Mew by finding it under a truck at a dock,
and then you have to fight the mighty Mewtwo in order to capture it.
That's fun.
Yeah, I guess that's
beat up the Mewtwo's.
That's one definition of fun. And then last we got the trailers for the DLCs. I thought these were out already, but apparently no.
I think this is the stuff people were talking about.
For the teal, it was like the teal mask and then the Verdian saucer or whatever. Yeah. Like the two DLCs for Scarlet and Violet. One of them is like very traditional Japanese like farmland, and there's like a little festival, and there's like spirits and temples and stuff.
Yeah, so this is what some of the people were talking about. So they showed off a Pokemon right now a second ago.
Yeah,
he's like an apple, but now he has a new transformation where he's a candy apple.
Yeah,
and I was like, does that mean that they dipped a live Pokemon in candy to make it a new form? Because that's kind of creepy.
Yeah, it's weird. Also, there's these weird people that are like, they got the bangs in front of their face, and I want to just fucking run up behind them and cut their bangs off. Like
it's fucking batshit insane. Like
this is
like
a
mask.
This is some fucking Tetsuya Nomura levels of stupid character design right here.
Yeah, that's a terrible haircut.
Anyway, they showed off a whole bunch of it, blah, blah, blah. Go watch it. You've already watched it. If you're a Pokemon fan, you've already watched it. If you're not a Pokemon fan, then you don't care about listening to me crap on it. So,
wait, that was that Raikou I was talking about.
Oh, which one?
It showed his eyes for a second, but I don't know if it showed him specifically. But yeah, he looks apparently really dumb.
Okay. I don't know. Can't find it.
It might be further in. I don't
know. Anyway. They did, though, also talk about, I believe, the release date for them, which was the big thing. So let's see, blah 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 blah. Or maybe I'm not. Maybe not. Maybe I did. I did not hallucinate that. Anyway, Pokemon. This is what people want to see, is me looking stuff up on the internet. No. What? Release date, bunch of new monsters. Applin?
Yeah, now he's covered in candy, Jeff.
Oh.
It makes him different.
Unlike the teal mask. Okay, wait. The teal mask has a release date, but so September 13th.
Okay.
Wait,
that's for the teal mask, yeah.
Yeah, and then the other one doesn't have a release date yet.
Yeah, because that's just one they're still working on.
Yeah, and then at the end there was like fucking 20 minutes worth of showing you how to play Pokemon, and showing all the weirdos and all the weirdo Pokemon and all that stuff, and I don't care. Like, it's fine. But so yeah, there we go. Pokemon.
Oh, there's the camera lady everybody keeps making weird art about.
Pokemon. All right, let's move on. Let's go from wholesome to get shot in the face.
Wholesome.
Because Modern Warfare 3 got fully announced.
Yeah, that's so weird that it got announced and it comes out in like a couple of months.
Yeah, well, it's November.
Yeah, but like you would have thought well, you would have thought they would have announced this way ahead of time, but most people were thinking the reason they didn't is they were waiting to see how the Activision thing worked out.
Oh yeah. So yeah, there was a little teaser trailer, and then there was this weird live action trailer with like a bunch of stuff cut into it, like a guy in prison. I don't know if you got a chance to watch this.
No, but it just reminded me of another joke that's in that boss battle.
What's that?
Where when you finish part of the boss battle, you walk up to a coffin and it says "Press F to pay respects." And I lost it.
So yeah, they intersperse this kind of, it's like a guy in a Russian prison like getting escorted, and then he gets a tattoo, and fucking Price is doing a bunch of voiceover stuff talking about guys and stuff and guys. It's revealed, this is
stuffing guys, Jeff.
Stuffing guys.
Stuffing guys in prison.
Yep. It's revealed at the end that this is Makarov, the guy from 2.
Makarov?
Yeah. Makarov was the son of the general from the first game, for the first Modern Warfare, and he's the one that does all the stuff in
the first
Modern
reboot
Warfare.
Modern Warfare, I assume?
No, I'm talking about 4.
From 4?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's weird.
So wait, so then when Modern Warfare 2, the original Modern Warfare 2 came out, this guy was the bad guy. He was the one that he's the one that does the no Russian. He's the one that says that, like he's the one that sets up the terrorist
Russian.
attack.
Yeah.
It's like between him and then there's another guy, I think in a generic Middle Eastern country that are like the bad guys. So it's confirmed that Makarov is the bad guy. It's going to be Modern Warfare 3, and it's coming out in November. A lot of weird stuff here because also next week there's going to be a full-on probably gameplay reveal.
Yeah.
A lot of weird stuff going on here. First, as you said, they've taken their damn sweet time in announcing this.
Yeah, because they announced every Call of Duty real fast.
Yeah. The big thing is this also, last year was Modern Warfare 2, right? So, like, having the sequel to the previous year's Modern Warfare, like the year after, is kind of a weird...
It's not weird per se, because it's what they used to do. I just think it's weird that they went back to doing that at all. Because that was one of the reasons they stopped, was because they kept doing that so often. It made sales worse over time.
I'm not like challenging you, but from my memory is different. When did that happen previously?
It happened around the time of right after the original Modern Warfare 2, up until like Black Ops 2 or 3. And then one day they're like, "Oh, because this is how they would do it: is they had two studios making it.
Sure.
One was Treyarch, and the other one was
I thought they switched off.
What was the name of the other one? Yeah, that's how they
Infinity Ward. It was Infinity Ward.
That's how they did it every year. Remember, because one would switch off, and then the other one would release the year after year, and after year after year.
Okay, so yeah, so I guess this is what I'm saying is that like I don't think I remember a year where it was like last year was Black Ops 2 and then this year is Black Ops 3. It was always like last year is Black Ops 2, this year is Infinite, next year is Black Ops 3. Like it's having it just go...
Oh, you mean like the actual titles themselves?
Yeah. Having the actual sequel go from like...
That's different.
Yeah. Not skip continuity for a year off. That's what I was trying to say.
Oh, gotcha. No, that is different.
Because when you said it wasn't like that, and I was like, I don't ever remember that happening.
No, I thought you meant like in general, like Call of Duty games in general. But eventually they were like, well, let's take a small break. And then they did that for like a year or two at best.
Right.
And then they immediately fucking did it right away.
So, yeah, I think this is the first time where it's like, yeah, last year was 2, this year is 3. It lends a lot of credence to the rumor that I feel like has been going on around for a long time, which was that this was supposed to be an expansion pack.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That just they spun it into a full game. There's a lot of evidence to indicate that. There's also some evidence in this trailer to indicate that there might be another No Russian level. There's a very brief moment in one of the gameplay sections where you can see where you can see people like civilians running, like most of it's just military porno, like most Modern or Call of Duty is, but this one there's like people running and there's like chaos in what could be an airport, and then there's also another part where they show what looks like the outside of like a place that has like the front of a jet, like a crashed jet.
Yeah.
So it's unclear. I don't know how No Russian plays in 2023.
It barely played then when it came out.
Yeah, that's true.
It was a huge piece of controversy.
Yeah.
Especially when a lot of people realize you don't have to fire the entire time you do that sequence.
You do have to fire, but you can fire over the heads of the
because a lot of people were just like, well, I'm going for it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where most people, like, the game never was like forces you to do it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So
I don't know if Call of Duty is as big now. Like as big in the mainstream. I think
it's difficult.
The mainstream might have more to worry about than like, do you shoot a bunch of people in college? I feel like
they're focused on Fortnite nowadays.
Yeah, I feel like if you told my dad like, oh my God, you shoot a bunch of people in Call of Duty, just like people in like an airport, and he would be like, isn't that what you do in all of those games? Did you just shoot up everybody?
I think it's the interesting thing is we've gotten past a lot of that sort of thing.
Yeah,
because Grand Theft Auto used to be the one. There was a whole fucking lawyer who was after that entire thing.
Jack Thompson.
And then he turned out to be crazy.
Got disbarred.
For the funniest fucking reason.
Good job, Jack.
You had to present that porn, Jeff. You had to present it.
You know it. Let's see. Some other weird things that happened. One of the big Call of Duty streamers said that he was sent a package, and the package had in it a Slide brand flip-flop, a can of food, and an old cell phone. And Call of Duty people, I only know this because it was explained to me, are thinking that this means that slide canceling is back, which was, you remember in the first, I think it was Modern Warfare, or maybe it was Modern Warfare 2. No, I think it was in Modern Warfare 2. It might have been last year that we talked about this, where in multiplayer, people were doing that thing where they would slide and then duck and then jump, and they would goblin across the map super fast.
Yeah. And then they patched that out.
Yeah. And so they think that this might be an indication they're leaving that's coming back in Modern Warfare 3.
That would be interesting.
I thought that was like not allowed. They didn't want that to happen.
Well, they probably saw how much fun it was, and then like, well, what if we make it a mechanic that a normal human being can do?
Yeah.
Instead of just like the guy who's been playing for 1,000 hours.
Just make the animation for it not look like a bunch of fucking terror dogs from Ghostbusters. Like,
I think that's the idea. I think they were like, well, maybe we can make it an actual mechanic.
Yeah.
Instead of, like you said, the weirdest fucking thing you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah. Let's see. We talked about No Russian potentially coming back. And then this was rumored, this was confirmed, and now it's double confirmed. It's actually on the Activision website. And this is another thing that leads credence to the fact that this was probably an expansion that then turned into a full game. The unlocks from Modern Warfare 2 will be unlocked in Modern Warfare 3.
Oh.
Like, unlike a lot of previous years, the unlocks from the previous game will transfer over, except for a couple things. Vehicle skins for vehicles that don't exist, and then songs that play in those vehicles that don't exist.
Oh, okay.
But even like weapon progression will carry over from the previous one.
That definitely screams this was supposed to be an expansion.
Yes. Yeah.
Because, there's no way they did that quickly.
I do wonder, though, if by doing this once this year, if it's going to then set a precedent that people are going to get pissed off, or that I don't know if it's going to be then expected that then the next game is going to have your same unlocks.
Oh, they're absolutely going to do that. I'm not saying the game. I mean, the gamers will absolutely have that expectancy from then on.
Yeah.
Because we still have that issue with backwards compatibility.
Oh, that's true.
People still expect backwards compatibility from the next thing, no matter what it is.
True. Let's see. We got a bunch of Overwatch news. Speaking of online shooters, Overwatch 2 news.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. The single player stuff's coming out, isn't it?
Well, okay. They have a big push for their next season, which is called Invasion, and I'm like, okay, I'm legitimately, I haven't seen any like op-eds or think pieces or anything about this, but like, they canceled the single player part of Overwatch 2. They canceled the single player campaign for Overwatch 2. And then the next content update after they said that is a bunch of PvE quote-unquote single-player missions that have been added into the game.
Well, they did say they were going to do that when they canceled the campaign.
Yes, but that is just confusing as shit, man.
I never said it wasn't. I'm just saying that they're hoping that they can play both sides.
I'm confusing because all of the cutscenes are like, there's like these cutscenes with dialogue and like, it's like, oh man, here's Lucio, and oh no, there's an invasion, and what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? woo, and then like Tracer's like, oh, I'm the cavalry, love, and it's like, well, wait, is there fucking single player content or is there not? And apparently it's like PvE story missions and then like some challenges in the shooting range, and that's what it is. But then they keep talking about it. They keep putting it as like the big banner that says like story missions, and it's like, I thought you canceled story missions, but it's story missions.
Well, they canceled the really in-depth version of it because the version they wanted to make, because there's screenshots of this that you can still find online.
Yep.
Where every character is going to have like a skill tree.
Yep.
And a bunch of upgrades to make them stronger for the single player stuff, but only the single player stuff.
like StarCraft.
So it was a whole fucking like full-blown campaign mode.
Yeah.
Which was the reason they were like, well, we can't just patch that into Overwatch 1, so we have to make Overwatch 2.
Sure.
And then they're like, well, it turns out we can't do that, so we're just going to do what we could have done to Overwatch 1, which is patch them in.
Yep.
And you're like, you guys fucking suck.
Also, when you look at this Overwatch trailer, first off, I mean, I'll talk about there's a new healer they show in here. Ilari is a new support character that's coming in, but like they're like, we don't have the manpower to do a single player campaign, and then they just like they put out this trailer, and there's just shitloads of content in here. Just like, you know, there's like 2 new maps, there's a new PvP mode, there's like these new missions, there's like this whole challenge thing where you can use various characters and like a challenge map to hone your skills. There's all this new stuff, and it's just like, you guys are fucking liars. You're just straight up liars. Like,
Well, their explanation was so just like greedy sounding.
we didn't know how much work it would take. Yes, you did. Fuck you. Like,
Yeah, because they're like, yeah, the issue is that we were spending too much time making this really cool sounding single player, so we couldn't exploit people in multiplayer mode anymore.
right.
And so we decided to go into the exploit part instead.
Yeah.
And you're like, come on, guys. And you still have to pay for the missions if you want to keep the missions, by the way.
Yeah.
It's like a $15 charge
It's
by default, like minimum.
All these events, all these sprays and emotes and new costumes and just all the fucking levels and like all this shit. So I just don't believe you. I'm
always surprised how little I care about Overwatch 2, because when Overwatch 1 came out, it was a fucking, it was a cultural phenomenon kind of thing.
Yep.
Like, I knew people playing that game who don't play games that often at all.
Yep.
That was like their weekly thing. It was like, I'm going to log in, play a bunch of it, get my loot boxes, and then maybe play with some friends. Like that and Star Wars Battlefront 1 were like that. And
I love playing Battlefront 1. It was baby day. I love playing Baby Town Frolics.
Both of those games fucking fucked up the sequel as hard as they possibly could.
Damn right.
And now no one gives a shit about those games.
Yep.
It's a shame because Battlefront 2 eventually became a better game, but still.
Yeah, so there's going to be a new healer. We haven't had a specific thing. They've just kind of shown her in a few things. She's got like a kind of a sun gimmick, which I think she's like Mayan or something like that.
Yeah, she has like a sniper sword, which is a fucking weird ass weapon.
It's like a rail gun powered by the sun. Incan.
Okay.
But she also can throw down like little pods that will heal anybody that goes next to them. She's got some kind of ult where she flies up in the sky and shoots a bunch of people. I mean, the thing is that, like, I still think Blizzard has good character design people working for them.
Oh, 100%. Overwatch still has the ability to turn this sort of idea around, but they're just not going to anytime soon.
Yeah, true.
Because they're too focused on the money side than the creative side.
But then, like, I think, again, they're just like, we don't have the time. I don't know if you saw this, but they also had this Enigma thing. This was like it was like a thing that was cutting into like streams. Like they bought it as like a commercial type of thing, and it's like this hacker, like all black clad. You see them from behind. They've got all this stuff. They're talking about the heroes. They're going to be needed. They're going to be needed in this place. They even show like on the wall. They've got like actual physical versions of like Brigitte's mace and like the hammer and stuff. And they go through this entire fucking thing. And Michael at the end, it's shown that Enigma is John fucking Cena.
I'm sorry, what? What the fuck?
You didn't see that one coming, huh?
Well, I can't ever see John Cena. That's the issue. Why is there just a blank screen, Jeff?
I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. He was there earlier when I was looking at it. Okay, good. Obligatory joke out of the way.
What the fuck, man?
So then people were like, is John Cena going to be in Overwatch? And Blizzard was like, no, he's just doing these incredibly complicated promos for the new season of Overwatch 2. And it's like, well, I mean, I'm sure that you could get John Cena to do whatever for a fucking sandwich and some internet clout, but like...
John Cena loves just doing things.
Yep.
And I can't help but love him for that.
Yep.
But at the same time, I'm disappointed more in Blizzard, Activision Blizzard, than I am in John Cena.
Yeah.
Because, my God, what a waste of John Cena.
Also, it's so overly serious. I like John Cena better when he's funny. Like, this whole thing is just so self-serious with all these, like, screens and fucking...
well, I love him when he's a little bit of both. Like, Peacemaker is the little bit of both kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas there's versions of him where he's like, I'm a super serious character. And you're like, are you, though?
But are you? So yeah, John Cena will not be in Overwatch, and it's like, great.
What a waste.
You guys have time for all this horse shit? Come on. Not actually at this point, though. I want to make it really clear to anybody that's listening. I don't actually want them to do anything anymore. Like, Blizzard to me has sunken down to the Square Enix level of just like, you guys suck. Because
they suck.
At the end of the day, like, I had some hopes for Diablo 4, but I just keep reading story after story and talking to people where it's like, yeah, I haven't played Diablo 4. I've played like 30 hours. I'm like, are you enjoying it? And they're like, I mean, I played 30 hours. And it's like, well, right. But like, you could play a game that you enjoy. You could play Dave the Diver like
Here's
for 30 hours.
Jeff. I still want Overwatch 2 to make a John Cena campaign, but he's just John Cena, and he just happens to be a member of Overwatch for some reason.
I'll tell you what I want. I don't want that.
And the bad guy is Dave Bautista.
No, what I want is this. I want them to pay John Cena to go in, and I want John Cena to re-record all of the voice lines for every character in Overwatch, and I want to be able to buy those packs until I have all of them, and then I want every character in the multiplayer to only be like Death from Above, but like with John Cena's voice, and like, cheers, mate, the cavalry's here with John Cena voice. All John Cena voices, like top to bottom.
At minimum, I would want him to be the announcer.
Yes, I agree.
He's like, protect the payload.
Yeah. No John Cena won't be there. Also, I don't know if you saw this, but there was a full-on short. There was a new Overwatch short last week for Sojourn. Yeah, full-on 7 minutes. You know why you didn't know about it though?
No.
Because Blizzard. I'm so sorry, man. Like, I get tired of listening to myself say
what
this.
What did they do?
They made it only viewable inside of Overwatch 2.
Oh, what the fuck?
To watch it, you had to open Overwatch 2 and watch the thing in there. So, of course, the Game Trailers channel and IGN and places, they
captured it and just put it on live.
Went in and ripped it and put it on their YouTube channels. But, God, fuck you guys. Nobody wants to download Overwatch 2 just to watch this trailer, to watch this little short film. And it's a really good little short film. It's about Sojourn. And she basically has this cute dog, this incredibly cute little dog, and there's a kind of a cop that shows up, and he's like, hey, I got to talk to you. You're retired from Overwatch, right? She's like, yeah. And he's like, well, last night, me and my friends, we were in this, shady warehouse, and then all these Omnics came out, and they started shooting at us, and we were all going to die, and then, this motorcycle helmeted black-clad figure showed up and kicked everybody's ass and saved my life. But they used the gun arm that's your brand of gun arm.
Okay.
And I think you've been vigilanteing. And then she basically says, well, you got to do what you got to do. And then right before he arrests her, the Omnics go crazy. And then she reveals that her whole house is like the Batcave, and it turns into she got all the suits and the legs and the guns and everything. It's a good little short. Good little short. Don't make me fucking install Overwatch to watch movies.
Yeah, no, that's terrible. And I hate that you waste all this great lore and these characters.
Yep.
And it makes me sad.
Yep. Agreed. Yeah. And I tell you what, I think we're going to wrap it up there. We're a little under an hour, but we're at a stopping point, right? That was our last Overwatch story.
I was about to go, why is that suit so curvy without her wearing it?
Oh, right. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to take a break.
I expected the dog to transform for some reason.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we are going to have more news. So stick around, and we'll see you in just a minute. We're back, Michael.
Are we?
Yes, we are. And I'm really glad because I didn't have a very good segue this week between those Overwatch stories and this one, which is why I'm bringing it up and bringing a lot of attention to it.
I would have said speaking of weird decisions.
Speaking of weird decisions, yeah, Red Dead Redemption is in the news. Red Dead Redemption 1, because this week Rockstar came out and announced that they are putting out Red Dead Redemption and Undead Nightmare as a single pack, and it's coming to the PS4 and the Nintendo Switch.
Yes.
They put out a little trailer for it, which is like I don't know. This to me is, I don't like this trailer because it's basically the My Name is John Marston trailer, but just kind of recut. Like it's using the same music. And
100%.
Got a lot of the same like elements. And I love that first trailer so fucking much.
Well, that first trailer is fucking magical.
It's so weird though. I recommend everybody go back and watch the My Name is John Marston trailer, because after playing Red Dead Redemption 2, it's like it's got a whole different
vibe.
It's got a whole different vibe because you know who they're talking about.
Yeah.
Like originally there was no context for like who are they talking about? Like who's Dutch? Who's Bill Williamson?
Yeah, you don't also like understand the stuff where he talks about like betrayal and everything.
Yeah,
because when you first hear it, you're like, whatever happened must have been fucked.
Yeah,
and then when you play it, you're like, oh, it was fucked.
Yeah, and he talks to the.
It's just a shame that like a certain character didn't exist at that. Up to that point for them to mention,
and that nobody mentions him the entire time.
Yeah, because that would have really, really sold the whole series as a whole if they had done that.
Yep,
but there was no way they would have known that at the time.
So yeah, this okay. So there's a little bit of weirdness about this. One, no work has been done. Like this is just a port of the game to PS4 and Switch. Two, you might have mentioned that I didn't mention the Xbox or the PC. So one, Red Dead Redemption 1 is already available on the Xbox via backwards compatibility with the 360 version.
And it upreses it.
And it upreses it to 4K, which this does not do. And then as far as the PC goes, that's just kind of been like a weird oversight, it's really weird to me that this doesn't have a PC, because this is what everybody really wants.
Well, that's what everybody was hoping this would, because this was not so much leaked, but the Red Dead Redemption 1 was classified by like what, Korea again? Because Korea's really bad about that.
Yeah.
They'll classify shit and then just tell the world.
Yep.
And then everyone's like, oh, they're going to do a thing with this thing. So you hear that about Red Dead Redemption, and so your mind is going a million miles a minute, because you're like, oh, they could have remade the whole thing, because they remade that whole map in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yep.
And you have these great John Marston models that you could probably use for it, and you just have to remake some of the other guys, sure. And like, there's all these things you could do with it. And then the other thought was, well, maybe it's a PC release, because Red Dead Redemption 2 has a PC release.
Yep.
But it turns out it was the laziest possible thing instead.
What do you think? Okay, so here's a question that I have for you. There's been a lot of kind of complaining and talking about the price. Because it's $50. It's Red Dead Redemption 1. It's also Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare. You can currently buy a 360 disc of those two games for $30, the Game of the Year edition or whatever.
I think you can buy it digitally for about the same.
Too, oh, yeah. I think that I read an article that said that at the time of that article, which was very recently, that if you buy digitally on the Xbox One, and one is $30, and then Undead Nightmare is $10. So it's still like 40. But that this is $50 for a PlayStation 4 with no additional features. Also, they don't have any of the multiplayer. I don't know if that's a big thing.
It's not a big thing anymore. It used to be. I was addicted to that multiplayer when it first came out.
Yeah.
I have some stories about that shit.
What do you think? Do you think that's too much?
It is too much.
Yeah.
The reason for that is specifically because they've done nothing to it.
Yeah.
The fucking, what was it? The Mafia remaster was $40, and they remade that entire fucking game from scratch.
That's true.
And they did, and like, I love Red Dead Redemption 1. Don't get me wrong. I'm actually happy that there is now a way to play the entire Red Dead series on your PlayStation. You can now literally play Red Dead Revolver, Redemption, and Redemption 2 if you wanted to now.
Sure.
Which is a fun thing. I like that idea. But $50 is a lot of money for a game like this, and especially because most people only want it for Red Dead Redemption itself, not Undead Nightmare, as much as I love Undead Nightmare. And you can buy that for hella cheap online. Oh, you could probably buy that game on eBay for probably cheaper for your 360, and it up-reses it. But this doesn't. Like, I get the Switch not having a bunch of up-resing and all that stuff.
Sure.
Like, I feel like if they had released this version on the Switch with that price, and the PS4 version had like a nicer looking one, people wouldn't be complaining as much, because that has happened in the past where they'll re-release something and then the Switch one looks not so much worse as it just looks like the original version.
Yeah.
And so making it $50 just feels wrong. Like, I would have paid $30 or $40 kind of thing for it at most. But 50 is just, it's too much for a game that's that old.
So here's the thing. I don't necessarily have as much of a problem with it. But a lot of that comes from the fact that, like, I know that games like this, I know that all games go on sale, and they go on sale fast, right?
Yes, this one probably will go on sale a lot faster than I expect.
And to be honest, like, the idea that you've been dying to play Red Dead, and you haven't had any way to play Red Dead up until this point. I mean, yeah, I get that, but at this point, I think that it's just a matter of, like, what there's going to be a winter sale where it's going to be, or it's going to get on PlayStation Plus or whatever. Probably the Switch version is the one that's a little bit more egregious, because Switch games don't go on sale as much as PlayStation games.
It's easier to swallow the pill of the Switch one because you can take it on the go.
Yeah.
So the idea of, like, hey, I can play the entirety of Red Dead Redemption.
I'm playing on like a 720
like
screen
or something.
Yeah.
Like, just for, like, if I could be at like a get together for family that I don't want to deal with, but I can play Red Dead Redemption in the middle of it.
I'm gonna escape to the world of Johnny Marzipan, Gary Marzipan.
Exactly. I don't want to fucking hear about Uncle's 7th divorce or whatever.
Yeah.
I want to hear about John Marston's failing marriage.
I also do think that there's probably going to be a PC version. Like, I think that the fact that there isn't one right now does not mean that there won't be one soon, because the PS4 is basically a PC.
Yeah.
So I think that if they've managed to do the conversion to that it'll probably come out on the PC eventually.
One theory that the reason that it doesn't have a PC version is that PC guys are they have much higher standards for re-releases of stuff. So if they came out with it with, like, the most bare bones thing possible, they probably would have a much harder backlash than they do now.
Maybe. Also, the fact is the PC games tend to be cheaper.
There's that too.
So if it was $50, I could see it being $40 on Steam.
Well, that's why I think they would be more upset about it too.
Yeah. As part of this, there was also a thing where Strauss Zelnick basically said, like, nah, bro, $50, that's what it is. And basically, I think that if you translate the corporate speak, what he's saying is, like, you nerds will give us $50.
Oh, 100%.
Like, we don't have to price it aggressively. This is Red Dead fucking Redemption.
It's
like,
that South Park joke of the cable guys rubbing their nipples.
Right.
I'm sorry that you have to pay $50.
Right.
Why don't you buy Red Dead Redemption from the other company who makes Red Dead Redemption?
Yes.
Oh, that's right. There isn't another one.
There isn't one. Also, he was asked specifically about a PC port of it, and gave, like, Strauss Zelnick is a I don't like Strauss Zelnick, but, like, he is very good at saying nothing. Let me read this quote.
Very good at it.
It depends on the vision that the creative teams have for the title, and in the absence of having a powerful vision for something that we would do with that title, we might bring it back out in its original form. We've done that, and in certain instances, we might remaster or remake, or it really depends on the title and how the label feels about it, the platform, and what we think the opportunity is for consumers.
That was so nothing.
What?
I love how stupidly nothing that entire sentence
It depends on what? What does it depend on? The vision? of the guys porting the game? Like,
it doesn't make any sense. The more you think about it, you're more like, what are you talking about?
Which vision are you talking about? I don't understand.
Like, whose vision? I don't understand what that means.
In the absence of having a powerful vision for something that we would do with a title, we might bring it in its original form. We've done that, and in certain instances we might remaster or remake, so it really depends on the title and how the label feels about it, the platform, and what we think the opportunity is for consumer.
All he has really said is like, it depends if the studio wants to release it on the PC the way it is now, or maybe we'll make a remaster or remake, but that depends on if we want that. And you're like, that's not an answer.
Right.
That's like, you can say that about anything.
Well, do they want it? Like
I could say that about Superman Returns or something for the PC or for the Xbox 360 if I wanted to, and that's still a nothing answer.
Absolutely, you are correct. All right,
terrible answer.
Baldur's Gate. Let's do some Baldur's Gate talking. I got a bunch of stuff. I threw this one in at the last minute, and I thought it might be kind of interesting to talk about. So I don't know if you saw this, but there was a developer on Twitter that put out kind of a tweet thread that was talking about I'll just read the first one. This is from Zalavier Nelson.
I'm not even trying.
Said, like lots of people, I'm deeply excited about what the lovely folks at Larian accomplished with Baldur's Gate 3, but I want to gently, preemptively push back against players taking that excitement and using it to apply criticism or a, quote, raised standard to RPGs going forward. Now, the thing is that I think that one tweet has gotten a lot of attention. I actually went through and read like a lot of the subsequent tweets.
It's like 10 tweets.
One of 10.
Yeah.
And like the thing is that there's kind of two sides to this, right? So this guy is part of a team that has made like a very small indie game called it's called like Galactic Overlord Organ Trader or something like that. It was on Game Pass. It was a very small game. It was very kind of menu oriented, very small. In the tweet thread, he talks about how like this sort of development is very difficult. Larian, how this is like, it's very emphasized. This is like, this is like a once in a lifetime thing. And like Larian,
this is like everyone firing at all cylinders is what he's saying.
Yeah. Larian could very well bankrupt themselves by trying to do more of this. Larian also, he points out, and this is very true, that Larian has worked up to this. Like they were a very small independent studio that made a lot of RPGs, and every one of them got a little bit better and a little bit more complicated, and a little bit more. It's also worth noting, I mean, in case people don't know this, Divinity Original Sin 2 was 150 employees. For Baldur's Gate 3, they expanded to 400 employees.
Yeah.
Like one of the things they did was they literally had to staff up an entire, like, those, you know, in Mass Effect when you talk to other people and it's a little faux cut scene, right, where you're going back and forth. Like they didn't have anything like that before, so they had to literally bring in an entire department to set up those little cut scenes and things that will happen. So I'm of two minds about this, because there's a lot of people on the internet that are like, as gamers, we deserve actually this level of quality, and we should have this. I don't think that anybody. I think that this guy might be saying this in the specific realm of like small team independent development. I don't think anybody is going to be expecting the Dave the Diver guys to put out a fucking 600-hour RPG with AAA voice talent and like cutscenes. I don't think anybody's going to be asking for that.
Well, no, yeah, because based on what I've seen him say so far, because I've just been reading it real quick, is that the idea is that like RPGs, this type of RPG is so different and so, like I said, firing on all cylinders, and everyone did their damnedest, their A+ work on it, and that's great, and it's a game like unlike any other, but there's nobody in their right mind could keep that level of quality the entire way through. Yeah. And I don't mean that as in like Larian's gonna fuck up the next game. I mean that like as in like the next guy who makes another RPG isn't gonna fucking do that, because there's no way in God's Great Earth he can do that without a large team.
Yep.
And the same, because a lot of current RPGs are made by those guys. because a lot of people are always like, where are all the RPGs? Like, they're being made by the smaller teams, the people that you haven't been paying that much attention to, because you're so focused on why isn't Final Fantasy not the thing I want it to be anymore? Where there's like 12 games behind you, like a girl waiting on prom for you to ask them.
Sure.
And you're like, why won't the hot chick talk to me?
Right.
You're like, just turn around, dude.
Yeah. On the other hand, I also think, though, that there's a way that this is being taken where, like, I don't think it's controversial to say that there are a lot of companies out there that that aren't even doing their best, that aren't even trying to do their best at this point.
Activision Blizzard.
Man, you know what? I like Final Fantasy 16, but I'm going to look at you, Final Fantasy 16. You look at like what Larian has done with just like the branching pathways and the optimization and all the different systems and stuff. Final Fantasy 16 is fucking like... Final Fantasy 16 is a few steps up from Asura's Wrath when it comes to like what you can do in that game. You are on rails the entire time. Your build variety is very low. The stuff you can do is very low. And I'm not saying that's a bad game, but what I'm saying is that like
the relationships in that game do not build very well.
Is that for
Whereas Larian did a really good job with that.
Yeah, for a long time now, a lot of the AAA, Ubisoft, Square, EA, Activision, I guess Activision doesn't really make RPGs, but a lot of the companies that make RPGs,
you think Call of Duty is an RPG, Joe?
Have been.
It has an RPG in it.
Well, like, we've just been getting a lot of garbage.
No, yeah, we've
like a lot of $60 garbage.
We get a lot of garbage nowadays, and then they're like, "How come it didn't sell?" And it's like, "Come on, dude."
And I don't I get the sentiment here, and I don't want to pile on this guy, but what I do want to say is, you remember when Elden Ring came out, and there were a bunch of developers that were just like, "This is trash. Like, the UI is garbage in this game, and I don't even know what to do. I can't find the guy where's the big yellow exclamation point over this guy's head?" And everybody was like, "Well, that's not what kind of game it is, man."
Yeah,
like,
it's not.
I don't like it when other developers are like, "Yeah, it's a really good game, but hey, hold your horses, bucko. You don't expect every game to be a good game, do you?"
Oh, that happens all the time.
And I'm like, yes, I do.
There's so many developers that'll throw like weird reasons as to why things cannot be that way.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, I don't think that hasn't been true in a long time.
Yeah.
Like engines have gotten so easy now that we've been getting all these like crazy fucking Unreal Engine games from people in like China who's made it with like one guy on his lunch break kind of thing has been making these games kind of thing. And sometimes we get some really bad ones, but then you get some that just look fucking incredible.
Yep.
And it's made for like nothing almost. And these guys have like large EA, like the BioWare thing, because that was one of the ones that people were throwing shade at.
Yeah.
Especially because of the Dragon Age thing, because we watched the gameplay that they showed off to the new Dragon Age, where it was more like an action game.
Yep, it was more God of War.
Yeah, and they're just like, and they're like, BioWare's like, I don't think people really want an RPG.
Right.
And you're like, man, fuck you guys. Like, this thing fucking defeated so many Steam games.
It's got like 850,000 concurrent users on Steam over the weekend or some bullshit like that.
Even Larian was like, well, we're expecting, because they had it on early access for so long. It's like, well, we probably already hit our peak with the early access people. We're probably going to get like maybe, if we're lucky, like 100,000 or something is what their thought process was.
Yeah.
And then they got fucking almost 1 million people. And they're like, what the fuck happened here?
Yeah. Yeah, like the thing that came to mind, I Final Fantasy 16, all right, threw a little shade at it, that's fine. I will take 1 million Final Fantasy 16s, but compare that to look at the money and the time and the effort that was put into Forspoken. Like, or these Ubisoft titles, right?
Yeah,
Sea of Thieves has been in development with a huge chunk of developers for years.
Not Sea of Thieves. Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones. But like, you look at these, or you look at something like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where it's like it's a huge RPG with all these points on the map, and you know what? Nobody ever fucking talks about Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
No.
You know who nobody ever tells a story about? Oh man, you won't believe what I did yesterday. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. In fucking Baldur's Gate 3, the goblins had a bunch of spiders that they were throwing into a pit there were spiders in a pit. They were throwing like the people that they didn't like in there, and the spiders would eat them. And I walked up to the pit and distracted the guards with my fucking cool bard playing. And then my thief went up and he unlocked the door. And then I went in there, and since I had animal talk turned on, I talked to the spider, and the spider was like, fresh meat. And I was like, you want to know some fresh meat? There's like 50 guys out here, man. I can speak your language. These guys, they just keep poking you with sticks. And then 2 spiders ran out and ate a bunch of fucking guys. I convinced 3 ogres. One of them was a really cool ogre, and they were like, hey, there you go. We're going to fuck you up. And I was like, yeah, you could fuck me up, but maybe you give me like give me that horn you've got, and I'll blow it when there's like 60 goblins, and then you and your buddies can come and kill the goblins. And you can eat as many goblins as you want. And he's like, you make a pretty good deal. And then when I got to a place where I couldn't actually get past it, I was like, oh shit, I better blow the fucking orc horn. And then 3 giant, or the troll horn, and then 3 giant trolls showed up and fucking started fucking shit up. One time I opened up a barn door, and there was a bugbear fucking an orc. And I was like, oh shit, that's kind of hot. And then the orc was like, no, you've ruined it. You've ruined the mood. I'm leaving. And it's just like, and then, you watch the trailer for Forspoken, and you're like, what do you have to offer me? Like, just make a good fucking video game.
Every time I'm on Twitter, there's a new story about what somebody did in Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Like, my favorite was a guy, because he kept bringing up the goblins, so it made me reminded me of it, where he's like, I decided, you know what? I'm going to befriend these goblins and see what they're up to. But it turns out they're very adamant that they want to murder all the children in a very specific village.
Yep.
And I was like, oh god, I'm gonna have to kill these guys, aren't I?
Yep.
And that's just like one thing I've seen. The internet is covered in these stories about Baldur's Gate 3.
Yep.
Where I'll watch, like you said, when Forspoken came out, everything about it was people cringing at dialogue. No one was like, this was really cool when I did X, Y, and Z. Like, because at least with Final Fantasy 16, I heard a lot of like, it was really cool when I did X, Y, and Z. But nothing from Forspoken. Nothing
it's pretty cool when I killed God, but I mean, like, what do you expect? That's Final Fantasy. So
there's a lot of cool stuff in that game, but it's all like, I can't say without spoiling things. Yeah. But Forspoken was another instance of like, we're trying to be really badass, but we're trying to be fun and exciting for the youths,
right?
And you're like, no, you failed miserably, and all you did was annoy everybody.
Like what do people put online from Diablo 4? That thing has a whole story campaign about Lilith, the Demon Queen, and blah, 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 blah. I don't hear anybody fucking talking about that.
The only thing I hear people talk about with Diablo 4 is that they wish there was an option to join Lilith. Because they were like, hear her out. She has some good points.
So I guess the thing that I'm saying is, like, the thing that irritates me about this is that there's part of this criticism that is like, hey, everybody, it's great that you're so excited, but you need to keep your expectations reasonable, because we don't want to live in a world where you expect every video game to be very good. And it's like, no, fuck you. I do want to live in a world where every video game is really good.
Well,
and there's a lot of really good video games out there.
I want to live in that world, but I also don't want it to be like Syndrome, where everything's special, nothing is. And then it's like, that's the only thing, that's the only downside to good game. It's that Futurama. It's a scary door. It's like it's a casino where I always win. This must be hell.
Yeah, I don't know that I agree with you on that. I'm
just saying. Well, who agrees with you, Jeffrey Hitler?
Which is also a Futurama joke.
Yes, it's also a Futurama joke. Watch that episode of Futurama. It's really funny.
Yes.
Just watch the Scary Door compilation. You set me up for that joke.
I really did. Yeah. That's what I want to point out there, is that I don't like, I didn't like it when it was the Elden Ring thing. I don't like it a lot of times when, like, it feels like when like a filmmaker from an independent studio makes something that's really, really popular, and then like the studios are just like, well, yeah, that okay, that's fine, but that's just one fucking thing. Like, you can't expect us. It
makes sense from this guy specifically, because he's an indie guy.
It's just a statement of, you can't expect everything to be good. And I'm like, yes, I can. Like, as long as you aren't crushed when things aren't good, I can be like, I want you to do your best to entertain me. And I don't think that fucking EA, Activision, Ubisoft, Square Enix, and fucking like take your picks are doing their best. I think that they have too much of their eye on how to get more money.
Oh no, 100%.
And not enough of their eye on like, is it fun? Because that's the thing that I keep having to say over and over again is it's like the fucking Field of Dreams, man. If you build it, they will come. If you make a good game, we will give you millions and millions of dollars. Like
the thing is that like the way his argument is the only reason it works is because there is a divide between the developers that you should expect that from,
yeah,
and the developers you shouldn't expect that from. Because like you said, you shouldn't expect the Dave the Diver guy to make a super like intricate RPG kind of thing, but he can make a really good game that he did an RPG that he did make,
sure,
kind of thing. So he's like in this instance, the argument only works on the I don't have like a whole lot of people to make this game side.
Yes,
but once you get to the like you said, the EAs and those Activisions and all those guys, from those guys, you're like, stop fucking me, guys. Like, fucking give me good games that you want. That I'll give you the money as long as the game is good.
Yeah,
and I've had that issue quite a few times this year.
I mean, I just I'm not expecting Dave the Diver guy to make Baldur's Gate 3. He made Dave the Diver. I fucking love Dave the Diver. Like, I wish I could buy it a second time. I love it so much. It was a fucking wonderful, wonderful
I would have voted
game.
for Dave the Diver twice.
Like, it was great. It was great.
Third time.
So I don't expect the Dave the Diver guy to make this thing. I just expect him to do his best, and that's the only thing
that's really all we should actually expect. It's the Red Letter Media things. Like, I like a bad movie when I feel like they put their all into it.
Yeah.
I don't like a bad movie when they're trying to make
Neil
a bad
Breen.
movie. Yeah, exactly.
Neil Breen is trying.
He's desperately trying. Not so much, some of the other people out there.
Not succeeding,
like
but he
that
is
weird
trying.
Superman fan film that's all over Twitter right now.
Oh, I don't even know about that.
It's like I don't even want it. It's so bad. That's all I will say about it.
Anyway, we had some other stuff as mentioned before. The player count on Baldur's Gate 3 broke 800,000. As you mentioned, Sven Vinke talked about how like they were worried because they thought that the early access thing would mean that they kind of already pre-cannibalized their audience. People had already played it. They weren't going to come back.
No.
How wrong they were.
Super fucking wrong. I even guessed the number.
Yeah. Yep. What they had their Larian account login servers over the weekend. It was 24 hours after it launched, they had already passed 500,000 concurrent players on Steam.
Jesus.
And that was like on Thursday, I think. They have their own little account login servers, and they said that the IT team said they had something like 100,000 max players logged into that, and where like the highest that Divinity Original Sin 2 ever got was 90,000. So
Jesus Christ, good for them.
Yeah,
really good for them.
Yep.
And this is, by the way, this is all still PC.
Yep.
The
PlayStation version is still yet to come.
Coming, and its pre-orders are massive.
Yep. Pre-orders off the charts. Again,
it's beating fucking Madden in pre-orders.
It's fucking it's just like whenever I read industry news and they're all just like, well, like let's think about what fucking what's his face, the Rockstar guy was his non-answer, right? Or when you talk to them, how often. This is me going way back to when developers were like, console PC gaming's dead. People only want to play on their phones. We're going to put everything into phones. Or they're like, nobody wants to play horror games. Stop making Resident Evil. Nobody likes those games. Everybody hates those games. Silent Hill, fuck Silent Hill. We're going to make fucking pachinko games. And then it's like, one developer will come out and just be like, well, we just did our best and we made this game and we did what we know and we did the best job. And then the internet's like, shut up and take my fucking money. Like,
that happens all the time.
It's
cyclical.
2 weeks from now, they're just going to be like, well, we did a lot of market research before starting the new Dragon Age game, and we decided to make it like God of War with some MMO style elements and a tie-in phone game that you have to play to 100% if you want to get the good ending. And it's just like, what are you doing? Just make good games, like jerks.
Yeah, it doesn't take a lot for me to give you my money and things.
Yeah.
It just has to be a reasonable price.
Yep.
And it has to be worth it.
Yep. Again, Larian fucking I just can't believe they gave every early access player the collector's edition, the like $20 upgrade to the collector's edition. So
if you just did the early access before it came out,
yep. And one of those, a helmet that lets you free cast, like change form, like whatever you want. That's like
crazy as shit.
Incredibly useful. Let's see. We got a big fix for Baldur's Gate 3. We've actually had a few different fixes, but this one is the funny one because it involves penises.
Okay, what did they do?
So
was it going through clothes?
Yeah, it turns out that the Gith Yankee clothes set, if you slapped a dong on somebody, because you could totally pick your dong in this game.
There's more dong options in Cyberpunk.
Just shot out the front of the clothing. So you just played the game and it looks like you're just hanging brain the entire time.
That's amazing.
Yep, pretty great. So they fixed that. No more brain hanging.
That's a shame because I bet you some people wanted that.
Jason was really mad when I told him that we had to play the game censored for the dojo.
Oh, really?
He was like, "Oh no, I wanted to like throw my dong out there," and I was like, "I'm gonna have to fucking pixelate it. This is going on YouTube.
It would take a while for me to do that if we do this."
Yeah, I don't have to go through frame by frame this entire video and mosaic out. I'm gonna censor it anyway. You might as well just censor it. But so yeah, that happened. And then, as is obviously the question, there was a big question right now of, will this game be getting DLC? Because it's so popular and it's so successful, the next logical step is Larian going to do DLC? The answer is kind of probably not, maybe.
Well, Jeff, if the vision of the
Oh yes. Well, if the developers have a vision, the vision,
and then if they have the character of the Vision from Marvel,
yes,
then maybe they could put him in there. I don't know.
So I don't know if you know this, but traditionally speaking in D&D, right, like you max out at level 20.
No.
The game maxes out at level 12, which is pretty high.
Yeah, considering,
And so,
you're pretty OP when you level up in that game in D&D.
One level in D&D is a big fucking deal.
It's a big fucking deal.
Big fucking deal. Like I was having a huge problem with the game, and then I went from level 4 to level 5, and then I was just like, oh, you can all fucking suck my coming through my closed dick. Like, this is all not a problem. My fucking warlock can cast one spell 4 times. One damage spell 4 times in the same like round.
Jesus. You get OP pretty quickly.
So here's the problem, right? Is that if you're gonna make DLC for this game, it's probably gonna have to come after you're at max level.
Yeah.
Once you get to like past level 12 in D&D, you start having to create really much more esoteric adventures, because the thing is that like level 13 wizards have spells where it's just like, oh yeah, man, as a free action I could just make anybody with less than 100 hit points die like just immediately.
Yeah.
So the thing is that they would probably have to really do a lot of work on the mechanics to expand them to get you into challenges that would be like worth doing at level 13.
And
so
you want to be careful about like making an enemy that's too ridiculously strong,
right?
Because then it becomes not fun, and you may accidentally run into it earlier in the game for someone who hasn't played the game yet.
Yeah,
so you got to be real careful about that sort of thing.
Yep. Let's see. What's our time looking like? We got plenty of time.
Famous last words, they say.
Harada was out there last week slapping people down. This is the developer on Tekken 8.
I fucking love him so much.
I don't know if you saw him the week before. Last week we talked about how he just went to somebody's Twitch stream who he thought had hacked the Tekken 8 beta and was like, and he opened up in their Twitch chat with like, "Hello, cracker," because he was talking about like a game, like he cracked the game. But everybody on Twitch was like, "Whoa, wait, what the fuck?" And then he was like, "Yeah, it's me, Harada. Like, stop playing this game or I'm gonna ban you for life from Tekken." He was like, "I didn't do anything. It just the timer didn't time me out from the beta." And they were like, "Well, you're not actually Harada." And he's like, "Yeah, go to my Twitter account." And it was like, "Yes, it's me. Fucking stop playing right now or I'm gonna ban you."
I love him so much. Harada is one of my favorite game developers out there because he's the kind of guy who will walk into a room, say something, not elaborate, and then leave.
Yep. So yeah. So last week there was a question because I think it was part of the beta had a EULA that mentioned Denuvo.
Oh, okay.
And so people were like, oh shit, is Tekken 8 going to have Denuvo? And Harada came out and basically somebody asked him on Twitter and he said, this EULA is probably a copy/paste of Tekken 7 or something. I'm not registered this, but sure. Anyway, I've no plans to introduce Denuvo or anything in Tekken 8, so stop your tedious allergic reaction to every single thing and sit quietly. Parentheses, sit the hell down.
I love him so much. I love him so much.
So, announcement that Tekken 8 probably is not going to have Denuvo in the best way humanly possible.
Yeah, I follow his Twitter, and his Twitter is amazing because he'll constantly just be like, fans, I need you to chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
Because there was one that somebody... Because, like, people make joke posts all the time. They're like, if so-and-so character isn't in the game, I'm going to fucking punch out Harada or something. And you're like, whoa, guys, I get what you're doing here, but you realize every time you say something like that, if I go to a convention, somebody's going to see that, overreact, and then security is way more tight and way more annoying.
Right.
He's like, calm down.
Yep. So... Yep.
He's like, just for that character might not be in the game. I think that's the other thing he said.
Yeah.
I love him. He's the best.
What's this?
Also, my favorite thing is the sunglasses thing was an accident.
Uh-huh.
He when Street Fighter Cross Tekken came out, they were like, well, we need you to be like have like a bad guy persona against the Capcom guys. So we're going to have you wear sunglasses the whole time.
Okay.
And then it stuck, and he's been doing it ever since then. And that was a very long time ago.
Okay, sorry. Somebody was.
Oh yeah,
somebody was
Gordon
asking
Ramsay
if
thing.
Gordon Ramsay was being Tekken 8. I got distracted, and he responded. Sometimes I eat at Gordon Ramsay's restaurant. Of course, I've never met him, but I recall being puzzled when a waiter from a totally unrelated bar across the street brought me 10 tequila shots and explained, "This is a gift from your fans at the bar over there."
Yeah, none of the people at the restaurant knew who he was.
Who are you, by the way? Additionally, the Gordon Ramsay restaurant staff asked the waiter who brought the tequila shots, "Who are you?" I had no choice but to stare at the ceiling in these complicated situations.
Yeah, because you would have to explain like who he is.
Yeah,
to people who don't know why he would be famous for that. And I love him. I adore him.
It's good to have a laugh before we start screaming. In other fighting game news, Street Fighter 6 has added the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles into the game.
So this is the thing I was talking about with the pricing thing.
Yep.
About how it will give you the money.
Oh, yes.
If I feel it is worth it.
Yes.
This, unfortunately, is not worth it.
Yes.
As much as I wish it was.
So yeah, they put in costumes and accessories and emotes and tags and blah 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 blah, and you can buy them to use with your pre-made character, with the character that you make in the single player campaign of Street Fighter 6. Making them
use
look
them all in World Tour as well,
like a Ninja Turtle. Cool. Well, what's the problem? Michael, what's the problem? That sounds great. Why would you not just buy them and be happy that you're able to buy the Ninja Turtles?
The problem is each one of the costumes is at minimum $15.
Oh.
But also, you can't just buy the amount of coins you need for one costume.
Oh.
You have to buy the fucking... It's like a $600... or not $600. It's a 600 coins... for like 20, I think.
$12 for 610 coins.
Oh, yeah,
but then you need
12
an
for 610,
$5 for 250
for the rest. And I did the math, and to get everything, because these are just the costumes, by the way. There's 4 costumes at 750 coins each.
Yep.
Altogether, that's about. It would be the cost of the game, pretty much.
Yeah. $55.
Because the $50 one, the highest paid pack in the entire thing, only goes up to $27.50.
Yep.
And you need exactly 3,000 for all 4 costumes.
Yep.
And then these are just the costumes. There's another chunk of things you can buy, which were those emotes that you showed, the accessories, as well as the stamps and like some sticker stuff, like a bunch of like other extra things that you would like to have. You need another 2,200 coins for that, which if you add all that together is like $100.
Yep.
Which is fucking redonkulous.
Yep, sure is.
I still haven't bought any of them. I literally woke up the day they came out. And I was like, I'm gonna buy all 4 of them, and then I saw how much they were, and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna do that. Well, maybe I'll just buy one, and then I didn't have enough coins for one, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna do that either because I have to buy both of these fucking. I have to spend way more than I'm supposed to
put it in
just
perspective,
to get fucking one character.
To put it in perspective, the alternate skins for like the people in the game are like 5 coins a piece or something like that.
Well, they're some premium ones, but they're even then they're like only maybe a couple hundred.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And buying another character with the coins is only like a couple hundred or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it's really cheap. And not only that, because this is the thing that's a big fuck you in a lot of terms, is you can just buy Injustice 2 right now for
with the Ninja Turtles.
And you can literally use all 4 actual Ninja Turtles because they're costumes in the Street Fighter thing. So they don't even have voices, they don't move, they don't talk, they don't use their weapons, they don't fucking say anything at all, where I could literally buy Injustice 2 and have all 4 of them as actual playable characters with their voices,
or you could buy
you can
the
buy
Cowabunga collection.
Yeah, you can buy the Cowabunga collection for
Shredder's
$50.
Revenge.
Shredder's Revenge for it's ridiculous how many other actual Ninja Turtle things you can buy.
Yep.
You can go watch the movie like 4 or 5 times for that fucking cost. It frustrates me how much this fucking thing costs.
Yeah, seems that way.
Because I wanted it to be something I would want, and they ruined it. They ruined it, Jeff.
I think that what they should have done is it should have been like $20 or $30, but then you should have gotten all 4 turtles.
Yeah,
like
I would have. No one would have complained about that. I wouldn't have complained about that.
Yeah,
and like the only cool thing was that they gave you some stuff for free, and one of them is a lot of fun because it's the Ninja Turtle song sung by Luke from the game.
No,
because they asked the actor like, "Hey, can you sing?" And he's like, well, "I don't know if I can sing," because the voice actor for Luke is really cool because he does like anything when it comes to Luke. Like his Twitter, his YouTube channel are full of just like the dumbest possible things you've ever seen in your life involving that voice. And so they were all really excited about these things. They're like, well, why don't we have you sing? We're going to have you sing the song as Luke. And so you get that for free in the game. And I think that's really cool. That is really cool. But everything else is way too expensive.
Too expensive. Well, you know what? It's so expensive that some people have started making their own turtle costumes.
I've seen a few of these, and they're pretty amazing.
They're just like because the character creator, right, is so versatile.
And there's masks that are made out of ties from the game.
Like the Mad Gear guys.
Yeah, well, they're like accountants that fight you or some shit.
Yeah,
and so you could easily like wear one of those as the mask instead.
Yep. People making their character green with green trunks, and like this guy's wearing like a championship belt and then like a backpack. And
well, my favorite is he uses like I guess it's the scar or makeup sex thing,
or like tattoo,
and puts like a big yellow circle in his chest to be the front of the shell.
Yep, because
that's really what sells it for me.
Yep,
I love how stupid that is.
It's pretty great. Always trust the internet to do something fun. Anyway, yeah, shame on you, Capcom. Speaking of Capcom, we got the teaser for Aki, AKI, the new one of the new. Rashid came out like last week or the week before or something like that. Very recently,
the end of the last month, I think.
This was very weird because it all takes place inside of the World Tour mode.
Yeah,
it wasn't normally when you do a fighting game announcement, it's like you see all the moves and all the stuff. This was just like this fucking crazy lady that poisons the main character and then like slithers around him and like says menacing shit with her weird hair hat.
Yeah, because she's the first like brand new character out of the DLC. Yeah, because everybody else for the most part are returning characters, and she seems to have a lot in common. I forget the guy's name in Street Fighter V, but he was the guy with the poison stuff.
With the hat, like the hat, right? And the little glasses and like the robe.
Yeah, he was a big poison guy, and so she's probably going to have a lot of his sort of idea. But with her own like flair to it.
She got some weird hair.
Yeah, people were
saying
weird
fucking hair.
People were saying she has reverse Guile hair because, and so somebody drew it to like elaborate, which is that like it showed her with Guile hair and Guile with her hair, and it was like no, they're right. It's just the reverse. It's kind of amazing.
It wasn't until today that I realized why I kept seeing like news stories about her, but they were all like still frames from this weird little cutscene instead of what I would normally expect.
Okay.
But it's I don't know. That's coming like later this year, right?
Yeah, she's the fall character.
Okay,
and I think the winter character I forget his name. Eddie, I think, is what his name is. I can't remember. Ed, I think, is his name.
Okay.
And then the summer, I think after that is Akuma.
Okay. Well, we got a lot of fighting game stuff. I keep forgetting that Mortal Kombat's going to come out like in just like a month.
Yeah, next month, real soon.
So we've got a lot of Mortal Kombat. We're going to just keep talking about Mortal Kombat. We got the official Banished trailer for Mortal Kombat, which was a very interesting group of characters.
Well, yeah, the theme is like these are all characters that like their races or whatever don't want anything to do with them.
Yeah. So Reptile is here. Reptile's got a new lizard form, and it's way weirder than it used to be.
Well, it's closer to his form from one of the 3D games, because one of the 3D games made him look just like that.
Oh, okay.
But he had clothes on at the same time.
He's more of like the lizard.
Yeah.
From
and originally people didn't like that design, so
Yeah.
they did what I liked what they did, which is that he is now both. He is now
Yes.
his original kind of ninja design. As well as being just straight up the lizard.
Yeah, and he talks about how like he's like the only person in his race that can do that, that
Yeah.
can transform like a human form,
Which is why they hate him.
which is why they don't like him.
Because it turns out he's got a sexy form, and they're like, fuck you.
Yep. Now Reptile is also sexy. Because his face is visible, and it looks like he can also turn invisible. And then two characters from Mortal Kombat.
Either Armageddon or...
No, I think it's Annihilation.
Well, they are in Armageddon, though, but they're... Well, Annihilation's the movie.
Oh.
You're thinking of...
Deception.
Deception.
Yeah.
The problem is I don't remember their names because I didn't own those, but I played a lot of them, but I never used those guys.
The first one is Ashra, who's like a demon that has turned good, but she still kind of got a little bit of that demon face left.
Yeah. I recognize the other guy, though.
Havik.
Yeah.
Havik.
Yeah.
Havik.
He looks great, though, Havik.
So she's like very kind of like wushu. She got the sword and everything, and kind of like this kind of semi-angelic look to her. And then Havik is this guy that like fucks up his own body super hard, like a lot.
He's got like zombie type things where like he rips off his arm to beat you with it.
Yeah.
At one point, he just cracks his fucking neck for no reason.
There's a part where I actually looked up how these characters looked in Deception, and like he had a move where like he'll spin around, but the spin is basically his top torso, like broken off of his bottom torso. He had his fireball was like a low fireball, where when he went to do it, his legs at the knees would crack backwards and go down to the ground, and then he would shoot it and then pop back up again.
He was a very creative character.
He's a very strange character.
He looked way more zombie-like, though, in the original one.
Like, he's definitely got kind of this regeneration stuff. There's they show one of his attacks as him yanking his arm off and hitting somebody with it. A lot of weird going on here. It's like they got all the vanilla stuff out of the way. It's like, all right. We got Johnny Cage, we got Scorpion and Sub-Zero, we got Liu Kang.
What's cool about that X-ray is that when he's punching them, his forearms break off, and he just stabs them with his like skeletal parts.
Yeah, with the bones.
It's fucking like really creative what they do with them.
Yep. I also like just a lot of the implication that you see here of like what's going on in the story. There's a lot of like Johnny Cage
stuff,
dressed up to go to a party. Some of these reptile moves also though look fucking weird, like that bottom spin. I really love
It's like a crocodile thing or alligator thing that they do.
Yeah, I really like the Striker X-ray attack.
I love Striker, but it's always really funny to see Striker pop out.
Yep.
Because I'm actually a really big fan of Striker, but everybody's doing all these really cool magic moves, and then he just shows up and shoots somebody in the face.
Hits him with the nightstick really hard.
It's fucking really funny every time.
Yep. I am super excited for Mortal Kombat. I couldn't be more excited.
I'm super fucking excited.
Can't wait to see what Mortal Kombat 1 does. We got a lot of like it's not necessarily a mile a minute releases from now until the end of the year, but there's a lot of good stuff coming up in this last quarter. Like
September and October are fucking filled.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy.
So yep, go check it out. Get on board the Mortal Kombat hype train. Michael, there's a game that you like, and they're making a new one.
They showed off some gameplay finally for the new Fatal Fury.
Yep,
which was the sequel to, I can't remember the full name of it. Like it's the Gato sequel, which involved the wolves thing. So they call this one City of Wolves. And they show off.
What was it? Mark of the Wolf was the first one.
Yeah, I think Mark of the Wolf is the last one they made prior to this. It was the first time Terry didn't have his hat,
Yeah.
and so it's continuing that. So he still has his outfit from that, as well as Rock Howard as well. And so they both look. I love the designs of them because it's this great like 2D 3D look that that's closer to the way Fighters almost has, compared to the way King of Fighters 15 looks.
Oh, right. It's a little bit more high contrast, so it comes off as like more cell shaded.
Yeah, and the projectiles look like a lot cooler than they do in King of Fighters 15 right now.
They're a little bit more emphasized.
Yeah, and it's still very much in development. There's some stuff that they show off in the map that's either going to be characters that are in it, or they're just like sequences from Fatal Fury that were, very famous sequences, like Geese's death kind of thing. But I'm very, very excited because Fatal Fury is a series that is it's near to me mostly because of Terry.
Yeah.
Don't lie about that.
Mr. Bogart.
But also Mexicans love Fatal Fury and King of Fighters.
Okay.
It's a running gag that has been proven true.
Why?
And it's the funniest thing. I don't know why, but here's the bracket. White people love Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Black people love Street Fighter.
Okay.
And Mexicans love King of Fighters.
Great. Okay.
And Fatal Fury. This is a stereotype that has proven time and time again.
Okay. Well, then let's move on to the next one. You can tell me what stereotype is super into Tekken.
That one is for some reason Atlanta.
Okay.
Because for some reason Atlanta is like the top fucking Tekken city of the entirety of everything.
Okay. Well,
it's fascinating. But also Brazilians really love Tekken.
For Tekken 8, we got the reveal of Raven.
Yes.
The ninja dude. We got a bunch of fighting game stuff, right?
Yeah, because Evo just finished over the past weekend, which was a very exciting time for everybody. And so most of these reveals happened during that. So if you look up trailers, some of these trailers are have a lot of their people reacting to them.
Oh, okay.
So you can watch some of these trailers of just people yelling "woo" as loud as fucking possible.
It looks pretty cool. I'm not a Tekken guy. I don't really get like if there's anything in here that's worth like talking about. It seems like
they really upped his like ninja stuff.
Yeah.
So he's got all these like sort of shadow clone type things, and I don't think he was in the last one. I think his daughter was in the last one.
Oh, okay. All right.
So this is return of the Wesley Snipes looking ninja.
Okay.
And he looks fucking fantastic.
He looks like he should be in Dead or Alive, to be honest. But whatever.
That's how a lot of Tekken characters look like they would be at home at a lot of other places.
Yeah. And then for Guilty
Gear. You don't have
Gear,
the other character they showed off?
What's that?
You don't have the other character they showed off for Tekken?
No.
They showed off one other character for Tekken.
Oh.
And it's a woman from Peru who is obsessed with coffee.
What?
Yeah. Her entire like personality is specifically about coffee. And it's so fucking weird. I forgot her name already. There she is.
This?
Yeah.
Azucena? Okay.
She has like all of her moves are like counter based.
Okay.
So she's like dodging constantly.
Okay.
But she's also like really into coffee.
The coffee queen is here.
Yeah, she's just like constantly like being like, "What's your favorite type of coffee?" while beating the shit out of you. And her ending is like really funny because it looks like an ad for coffee.
All right. Wow.
It's really fucking weird. I kind of love it. Like yeah, try to skip it. Yeah, there's her final thing where she's just like fucking them up.
Okay.
Yeah, how do you take your coffee?
Okay. All right.
And then after she's done, it's like an ad for her coffee.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
It's crazy. It's crazy as shit. Like her full name is like 4 different names, which is a very Latino thing.
Okay,
but yeah,
she's in Detective Pikachu should get together.
Yeah,
he loves the coffee. And then last on the fighting game front, we got the announcement of the next DLC character for Guilty Gear Strive.
Yes,
Johnny, the weird samurai cowboy man.
People are a bit annoyed though, because he doesn't have like coin attacks.
Oh,
he's got like his coin in his intro, but for some reason in his attacks he doesn't have a coin.
Okay,
and so
he's got a big card though. He's like a gambler, right?
People are also bummed that his nipples seem to be missing.
Yeah, this is Guilty Gear, man. What are you gonna do?
Yeah,
they used to chafe, so I had them removed.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Had my nips removed.
But people are excited enough. But some people are a little confused as to like why he's missing some stuff they really liked about him.
Okay. Oh, he's like a returning character?
Yeah, he's one of the returning characters. Because, he used to be, like, known for a lot of his coin stuff.
Okay.
And so Like, so people were like, even when they didn't know his name, they knew him as the guy with coins. And so it's weird that he doesn't have anything like that.
Okay. So they're also doing a big update for Guilty Gear and a bunch of new stuff. Let's see. We got the full-on Dead by Daylight trailer. Probably not much to say here. It's a big cinematic trailer that shows. I don't think this is a Ripley skin. I think it's just like a Survivor outfit, basically.
It's like a Ripley likes. It's her stunt double,
right?
Is what it is.
You idiots.
Yeah, because it's clear they couldn't get the rights to Sigourney Weaver's likeness,
right?
And they're like, well, we still want to have Ripley, but we can't. So yeah,
so like you said, big '80s hair and the jumpsuit. Like,
so they captured her stunt double and they put her in the game.
This is your pretty prototypical Dead by Daylight trailer where like somebody is running away from a licensed monster and it's like, oh yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah, pretty much. But people are actually kind of interested in this one.
It'll be interesting if the level is in the ship, right?
I forgot what the idea is, but I think it's supposed to be like in this specific ship.
Yeah. Saints Row had a trailer for another DLC that's coming out, A Song of Ice and Dust. I'm really disappointed because there was a whole subplot in Saints Row that was about like these LARPing. One of the guys is a LARPer, and their LARPing thing is like this post-apocalypse kind of Mad Max thing where they make these big cardboard forts, but then they drive around and shoot like paintball guns at each other. And I found it to be the most tedious part of the entire game. And this whole DLC is that. It's like they're having a Renaissance festival about this particular LARPing thing, which is a real shame.
It'll be more fun in this one.
I'm not. Well, the last DLC, John and Man and I sat. We got together. They came over. I set up the recordings. I hit record. We played 15 minutes. The game crashed, and I could not get it to stop crashing. At the exact same point. So
the bright side, since it was the PS5, it loaded very fast.
It did load very fast. That was why there were 4 parts of Tears of the Kingdom, was because
oh yeah, that's right.
We was just like, well, fuck it.
People were surprised by that.
Yep. We got a trailer for Shadow of the Ninja Reborn. It's funny, Michael. You and I watched this before.
Yeah,
it's like a 2D side scroller.
We couldn't figure out if it was like a remake or something.
It is actually. What I found this out, and I think I wanted to show you because I wasn't sure.
It's an
NES game, and you might actually remember it when you see what it looks like.
Oh, I do remember this game.
Like, it had 2 different characters. It had a lady and then like a guy, and you could choose between them when you started up. And I think the lady had like old kunais that she could throw, and the guy had like a sword. But that's what this game is.
Okay,
they really did a
really good job.
Big like number on. I don't know if it's a 1-to-1 remake, but
I doubt it because it looks like it has a lot of like more things in it that you definitely could not do with a Nintendo game.
I don't know, but it looks great. Like, it absolutely, positively looks great. So I really can't wait to play this. It's from the people that did the Ninja Survivor. Is that what I'm thinking of?
I don't remember. They did a specific ninja game that I remember really liking.
Ninja Saviors: Return of the Warriors.
Okay, this game looks great then. If that's based on the way the old Nintendo one looked like.
Yeah,
shit,
absolutely fantastic. Let's see. 2 Point Campus is getting a medical school DLC.
Okay.
Which I think is a little bit of a cheat, considering this is the developer of 2 Point Hospital.
Yeah, I was about to say, didn't they make a whole hospital game?
Yes, but now you can learn to be a medical student. What's funny is it's a tie into the other game because some of the diseases that they show are literally the diseases that were in 2 Point Hospital.
Okay. So now it's like just now you learn kind of thing.
Yeah, but that's coming out the 17th of August.
Good for them. For figuring out how to stretch that.
Yeah. I mean, if you're into that sort of thing, great. What? Why is They Might Be Giants on here?
I was about to say, what's happening?
No, the last thing is...
last thing is That Might Be Giants is coming to town.
Yeah. There's a new elusive target for Hitman, and it's a DJ. The elusive mission is called The Drop, and it's a real guy called Dimitri Vegas.
Huh.
That, like... is going to be the person that 47 is killing, and this was announced at like his show, one of his shows. They like showed
that's fun.
47 coming out and saying like, "I'm coming to get you, Dimitri." And even though like this is obviously some kind of facial capture because it looks all wrong, like his mouth opens too much, but this is also the first new elusive target for Hitman in 2 years.
Yeah, I was about to say it's been a while since that's been a thing.
So yeah, this fall they're bringing back. I have a feeling that this Dimitri Vegas guy might have paid IO, or at least known somebody that worked there, or somebody that was a fan and was like, "Well, how much would it cost to make me an elusive target in the game?"
Well, I also would be surprised if somebody like he was a friend of a friend,
or was a fan
on the other way,
right?
Who asked him directly,
yeah,
or maybe he was a fan and then somebody overheard somebody else be like, "I heard he's a fan." He'd be like, "I bet you I could get him to be in this fucking game."
Well, because right now, I mean, as far as IO is concerned, all development for Hitman is
that's what's surprising
on hiatus,
about it.
So
especially like a guy like that, like that's such a strange choice.
Yeah,
because I have no fucking idea who that guy is.
I had to look him up. I've never heard of him before in my life.
I would have assumed you made him up because his name is like Jackie Daytona.
Right. Human DJ Dimitri Vegas.
I'm from Vegas. That's how everyone speaks in Vegas.
And then last on the trailer front, we got a new Washington trailer for Flashback 2, along with a release date. Flashback 2, I have been talking a lot of shit about. This looks slightly better than what I've seen, but this game still looks like absolute dog shit to me.
Jack shit about this game.
It is making me mad because it's like this weird 2.5D thing where you like kind of move, like there's some side scrolling, but then there's also like moving kind of back into the frame. Okay. I think they should just leave Flashback alone, man. Like,
now I remember when we watched the first trailer for this and you were very upset.
Yes. I have remained upset. I remain upset now. I have not gotten less upset over time.
You had to explain to me what it was then.
Yes.
So now I remember, yeah.
Yes. But we did get a release date of, was it just...
Because wasn't there like another sequel that you remember you saying everybody hated?
Oh, yes.
And then so this is just like, we're the actual sequel.
Well, yeah. So they made a sequel. Okay, November 16th is when it's coming out. Here. I don't know if I ever showed you.
You mentioned it, but I don't think you ever showed it to me.
It's called Fade to Black. If you remember Flashback,
the Metallica song, by the way.
Yes. This is what the sequel to Flashback looked like in like 1998. It was like a behind. It was a behind, like this is before this was really a big thing. The kind of behind the back following
like a
camera
team control thing, right?
It was more awkward than that somehow.
Oh, wow. I don't know how you make that work out. Sure.
It was like you had to use the numpad, and I think that the camera like locked. It would go like 90-degree turns. Like
that is somehow more awkward.
And it's really just like very
it was like Bubsy 3D.
So you see here, he's trying to line up to jump into that empty square. And then it's really awkward.
Well, this is more like I think like what Tomb Raider 1 did.
Yeah, it was very, very awkward. And then there was like it was kind of a lock-on combat.
I think Time to Kill had some stuff like that too.
Anyway, I think you should leave Flashback alone and just fucking. Actually, there was a really good Flashback sequel, and it was that one that was an indie game called. I don't know.
I have no idea.
I played it. It was.
When did it come out?
This year, like earlier this year.
It actually came out this year.
Game PC. It's called. Nope. Okay.
Yeah, it'll take you a while to find it.
Yeah, it would take too long. Somebody will put in the comments. There is something like. Oh, there it is. Lunark. Like if you look at Lunark on Steam, it's literally like
yeah, the guy's like straight up kind of looks like him.
It literally looks like Flashback did, and the guy that it was like a one-man guy that made it.
Oh,
and it was fun. And so like when you look at it, the side-scrolling segments are smaller than Flashback, but they use that to have these more expansive like levels,
like animations and stuff.
Yeah, and it's got the same kind of animation style as Flashback. It looks really good. So yeah, go check out Lunark. It has cool cutscenes too. They literally had a making of video where they showed the guy like he's basically just videotaping himself in his apartment doing this stuff and then putting it in Premiere and like
I love stuff like that,
doing all the pixel art over it. So As previously mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, WrestleQuest did not come out last week.
No.
3 hours before WrestleQuest was supposed to come out, it was delayed until the 22nd of this month. A lot of people mad about this, but the thought, John was talking to me about it, he was a little bit more plugged in than I was. He thinks that what happened was they had literally had a developer stream like right before the game was supposed to come out, and the problem that they found was that it's got like cross-save support, and that they found a bug where if something happens, your save will be deleted from the cloud if you try to like move it to another certain way to another location.
That is a hell of a bug.
Yeah. And they were just like, well, we don't like, this is a 40-hour RPG. We don't want people to be like, what the fuck just happened? Where is all my progress? But apparently also that hasn't stopped the internet from being real shitbags to these guys about just like, I'm never trusting you again, you fucking piece of shit, like all that.
They probably just don't even know about the bug thing.
Yeah.
Because
John, I don't know if it's true. I didn't look at it myself, but John told me literally there were people out there that were just like, just put a note saying like how to make the bug happen, and then we won't do it, and then put the game out because I want to play it right now. Like,
yeah, there are weirdos like that. So those are the shitty ones.
Yeah, two weeks. It's just 2 weeks they needed to get through and fix it. So
yeah, that's not a long wait, guys. You waited this long.
Hey. You remember that Dark and Darker game? Those guys getting like razzled by the Korean cops?
Yeah.
Well, and their game got pulled off of Steam, but it's actually available now to purchase directly from them on their website.
Oh.
Darkanddarker.com. I am starting to think that one of these weeks you and I need to play this game just to figure out what the fuck is actually like. Why are people so? What's going on with this thing? Like, I don't understand.
I would love for it to start, and it just starts with like the character going plagiarism everywhere,
right?
And then it just starts.
So yeah, apparently it's like $35 or something
for early access.
Yeah, well, there's like a $35 version, and then there's like a Founders Edition.
Oh, okay.
It's like a $50 version.
It comes with all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. It's out there. It's still not back on Steam, but they've at least. I mean, previously the last time they did this was one of their betas, and they literally were just like, "Well, we can't get it on Steam, so you guys, here's a torrent of it,"
which was fun. I like that they did that.
Yeah,
because they really believe in their game.
They do. Let's see. Speaking of good deals, if you got $35 and you don't want to spend it on that, right now on Humble Bundle, you can get every single Resident Evil game except for 4 for $35.
This is all on PC, by the way.
All on PC, yes.
Before you get all like, well, I want a PlayStation. No, don't. Just don't.
Yeah. All of them except for the 4 remake, but you still get the original version of 4.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, do you get like at least that one? But yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. 0, 1, 2, 3 remake, 4, original 4, 5 and 6 like the PC Gold editions, 7, and then Village with all of the DLC.
Oh, that's no, it's a coupon for 25% off, which is not bad at all.
Yeah,
that's pretty neat.
Also, Revelations 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah, that is a lot of Resident Evil for $35.
Yeah, that's
not bad at all.
A lot of Resident Evil. Go play Resident Evil Revelations, you nerds. That's a great game that nobody ever played.
I played it on the 3DS.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that it came out there. I often wonder about Revelations 2 because I don't know anybody that's played Revelations 2.
No one I know played that one at all because that one came out episodically.
Yeah, and it was also co-op.
Yeah.
It was like very specifically co-op.
Revelations also had some co-op in it, but I don't remember how long ago that was.
Yeah. Let's see. Valve has, if you're looking to get a Steam Deck, Valve is starting to sell basically refurbished pre-certified Steam Decks, like basically, refurb Steam Decks. Pre-owned. Well, I think a lot of this is what Steam Deck failure. They got it sent back. They fixed it. They certified it. Then they're selling it at a discount.
Yeah, the reason they're called refurbs is because they do work on them.
Oh yeah,
because it's not like they just got them and then just sold it to you covered in like fucking syrup or something somebody dropped on it.
New syrup deck. The thing is that they've got a 1-year warranty like the regular Steam Decks. I was actually really impressed, Michael, because I didn't know how much the Steam Deck was.
Yeah, it's like 40 or 50 off.
It's more than that. So like the 64 gig version is $319. That normally retails for $399.
Oh, okay. That's a pretty good drop.
The 256 gig version is $419. That's usually $529. That's almost like $100 off.
Yeah, holy shit.
And then the 512 gig one that refurbed 519. That one's $649 new. Yeah. So those are pretty deep cuts, man.
Those are actually, and all you have to do is just hope that the refurb is fine. And like you said, it's a
1-year warranty. So yeah,
they probably believe in what they've done to it.
Yeah, it makes me 319 like 320 is really tempting to me for the 64 for the low version.
It kind of is for me too, to be honest. But I don't PC game a lot.
Yeah,
and I don't go outside with something a lot either, for that matter.
That's the problem. Is I would get
that's the whole point of it.
Yeah, but it's not like it. I own a Nintendo Switch, and I've never once said to myself like, "Oh man, this Switch is great, but I wish I had something more powerful than it," because I literally sit in front of giant monitors and consoles all day, every day.
My favorite is that they still have the commercials the way Nintendo did.
Yeah.
They're like, look at all these people outside with their Steam Decks and going swimming. I'm like, why would you take your Steam Deck to a lake?
Near water?
Like, yeah, or leave it near water.
Yeah.
That's a crazy person thing you're doing.
Yep. Hey, you remember that... You remember that game on the Apple Arcade, Fantasian, where it was like little dioramas that they set up? Might be coming to the PC.
Oh. I'm cool with that, because I remember being bummed that it was only like an Apple thing.
Yeah. So the creator of Final Fantasy, Hironobu Sakaguchi, he talked recently about like people keep asking for it, and it seems like it's been long enough that they might end up putting it on the PC.
Yeah,
so.
Fun fact, not everybody has an Apple device.
Right. Well, also, sorry.
Like, it has gone in the opposite direction for quite some time.
I knew there was something that was more concrete than that. There's literally a listing in the Steam database for Fantasian Beta that showed up.
Oh, okay.
So
like playtest or something?
Yeah, so it's probably just a matter of time before we see it come up.
That's good for them, yeah, because, like I said, I've never even looked at an Apple Arcade game.
Yep. I have... They put out the horse race card game that Game Freak made.
Oh, that's right.
I kind of wanted to check that out, but I just never got around to it. And then last, we got a couple fun things. It looks like we're going to get some Lego Animal Crossing.
Oh, that's fun.
One of the Lego leaking Twitter accounts talked about how there's probably going to be a series of Lego Animal Crossing.
Now, you too can have debt in real life when you buy all these sets together.
I think they said that like one of the things that the little minifigs are going to have like bigger heads so that they look kind of more like Animal Crossing characters.
That would make sense because, yeah, they don't look like the way a Mario character or any of the ones they've made currently where the heads could be made like a normal size.
Yeah. Also, the pricing that they have for these, there's a few sets that seem like they're relatively reasonable. Like, unlike the fucking we put a computer in this Lego, and so it costs $300 bullshit.
Yeah, they made a lot of those. It's very frustrating how many they made of those.
Yeah. So, I don't know. We might be seeing that pretty soon. And then last but not least, I want to talk about this. This is really interesting.
I heard about this.
Hades is a game that I like. There is here's the thing with Hades. Once you beat Hades a certain number of times, you start to get this list of packs, and every pact raises your heat gauge. And there is a thing where if your heat gauge is all the way filled up, I think it's like 64, 65 heat. From the description, there's supposed to be like a 0.41% chance that you can beat the game, because it literally, you don't get any choice of what boons you get, so you have to get the right boons.
Yeah. You just get whatever's there.
You get whatever's there, and then also the game itself has a full-on, like a timer. Like a 5-minute timer.
The game basically just says, this is fucking impossible.
Yes. So it was thought to be impossible, but then over the last week, a Twitch streamer, YouTuber, Twitch streamer,
I think it's a YouTuber
named Jade
Hallian.
Oh, is that it?
That's what it said a little higher up.
I think that's the person who explained
that's the guy who explained it.
Okay. Yeah.
Jade, yeah.
Right. Jade, this YouTuber. Oh, his name is just Jade on YouTube.
Good for him.
Yep. Managed to do the whole thing. I think it's a lady, actually. I think it's a lady, but...
So I said them, so it's fine.
Oh, I think I said him.
That's not the first time I've heard that.
So, yeah. I watched through it. It's kind of hard to tell what the fuck is going on
because they have to go as fast as possible.
Yeah.
So it's hard not to blame them for that.
But I thought I would put up there. I thought you would appreciate that they used the shield.
Yeah, the shield's
like
the
your
fucking
favorite.
Shield's the best, guys. I think it's OP as hell if you get the right stuff for it.
Yeah. But yeah, they managed to do it. They managed to get all the way to the end with 3 minutes to spare, and it took about 30 minutes total. So
good for them.
Yeah. And that's it. That's
I do
the
it
podcast.
blindfolded with the guitar controller or whatever. That's usually the next step.
What do you think this is? Elden Ring?
Yeah, exactly.
The funniest thing right now is the fact that like Baldur's Gate 3 is so fucking big that like depending on where you get in certain places, you can't find answers to your questions on the internet. You know, the internet, you're just like, how the fuck do I save that snail on the bottom of the lake? And the internet's just like, I don't know.
They're like, what snail? What are you talking about?
So
that's the fun thing about playing an RPG like right away. Is that like you're like, oh, I'm just fucked if I don't know how to do this.
Yep.
You could just have to save scum. It's your best bet.
You do. Nothing wrong with save scumming in Baldur's Gate 3. You never know what the fuck is going to happen.
Nope.
Anyway, yeah, that's our show. Michael, why don't you tell the fine folks at home where they can find you when you're not over here helping me talk about every fighting game, apparently.
I think
that's what we're doing.
The fastest podcast we've ever done.
What do you mean?
Because it's not even like a billion hours. It's not super late.
It's
right
an
now.
hour, 2 hours, 15 minutes.
That's the lowest we've done in quite some time. That's magical.
There wasn't very much news this week.
I want to take a moment to talk about how amazing that is.
I want to take 15 more minutes to talk about how
We'll talk about it for another hour. No, yeah. No, you can find me on oneofus.net. We do a lot of movie television reviews. My Ninja Turtle review should be up by now.
Oh, okay.
And next week I'm going to watch 2 specific movies to do reviews on. One of them is Gran Turismo.
Oh.
And the other is a movie I didn't know about until recently called Strays.
Oh.
Which is it's like, do you remember the movies like Homeward Bound and stuff where they're like it's a talking animal, they're like
Benji the Hunted.
Yeah, we're gonna go back to find our family or whatever.
Milo and Otis.
Stray is about a dog whose owner is actually like a piece of shit.
Yeah,
like is played by the dog's played by Will Ferrell, I think, and his owner is played by Will Forte, and so he's abandoned at one point, and so he realizes his owner was shit, and so the idea is that he's gonna get home, but he wants to get home for revenge. So I'm like, this sounds like an interesting idea. I will watch this. I will wait to hear what those movies are like because I don't leave the house to watch movies. It's fair. It is a comedy apparently. So yeah. I didn't really watch the trailer. I just heard the description of it. Fair enough. And so yeah. But yes, you can find me there. Cool. And that is, you already know where you found us, and that's it. That's the podcast. I don't know, man. You want a longer podcast? You got to tell them to make more news. But don't gotta pay the troll toll. Don't tell them to do that. Don't make them make more news. I really don't want to have to talk about Pokemon anymore. I really don't. I don't have anything to say about it, and I don't like that fucking electric rat unless he's drinking coffee. All right, podcast over. Get out of my house.